Naruto Baka, you say that I am weak, but you aren't any strong either. I can easily defeat you, you know, she said with confidence. This time Sasuke snorted. He knows already not to underestimate me, Sakura, but maybe I will take you up on that. Now, Sasuke, did you tell her what you have to do tomorrow? He asked Sasuke, who nodded. No way. I am working as a team with you, Naruto Baka. You come last in every test. How can I take your word? I was number 1 in written tests. Even if there is one tomorrow, I will pass with flying colors, and so will Sasuke-kun. You will fail, she said confidently. Sakura, you will never make it anywhere. I think you dying on our first mission is good for you. I don't want to see you get humiliated as time wears on Naruto said, immediately regretting saying that while Sakura was visibly looking shaken. What do you mean by that? She asked him, too bothered by what he had said to actually pretend being angry. Sorry, but if you think that written skills are important while being a ninja, you will die on our first serious mission. I think you should just give up and become a teacher or something. Because people like you are the ones who die first, he said. Sakura did not speak after that, while Naruto looked guilty for having indirectly wished her death. Sasuke, who was watching the whole thing, merely had a puzzled expression on his face. That is when Kakashi Hatake came in. Team 7, he called out. The whole room was empty, but the 3 people nodded anyway. Kakashi, sweat dropped. These guys looked really glum. I am sorry I am late, he said, hoping that that was not the reason of their sadness. So, Kakashi-sensei, what happened lost on the road of life? Naruto asked him. Kakashi smiled, or at least his eyes did. I see you have learned some things from me, eh? Naruto, he thought. Now all I have to do is give him an orange book to read and corruption will be complete, just wait. Jiraiya-sama. The boy will be my image, not yours. Kakashi thought, which brought a weird, goofy grin on his face, which did not go unnoticed by the team itself. Hey sensei, stop daydreaming about those pornographic books and do something, will ya? Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura nodded. I am losing face here, Kakashi thought, sweating. My first impression of you guys. You are all annoying, meet me on the roof, he said before vanishing in a swirl of leaves. See you guys on the roof, Naruto said before vanishing in a sparkle of electricity. How did he do that? Sasuke thought. That was so cool, Sakura thought. The two made it to the roof and found Naruto sitting there adjusting his headband. Kakashi was sitting there looking really bored. It looked like the two were having a conversation. What do you mean? Electricity looks cooler than leaves. I won that one, Naruto said. However, Kakashi shook his head. Nope, I still think leaves are cooler, he said. What are you guys talking about? Sakura asked them. They shook their heads.
Nothing of importance, Pinky. Now we all introduce ourselves, our likes and dislikes and our dreams for the future, Kakashi said. Sakura was glaring at the Pinky remark, while Naruto was smirking.
You first, Inu-sensei, he said. Kakashi let out a small which indicated his displeasure of being called that. Okay, I am Kakashi-sensei. I like a lot of things. I dislike a lot of things. My dreams for the future are none of your damn business, he said, which made Sakura and Naruto's seat drop. All he told us was his name, Naruto thought. You first, Sakura. Kakashi said. I am Sakura Haruno, I like, she said before blushing at Sasuke. My dreams for the future, she said before letting out a perverse giggle that Kakashi would have been proud of. I dislike Ino and Naruto Baka, she said, hoping Naruto would be disheartened. But the effect was the opposite. Naruto was really pleased at this for some reason. Blondie goes next, Kakashi said. Naruto Uzumaki, I like ramen, and my friends. I dislike a lot of things. Wide foreheads with pink hairs are included, he said looking at Sakura, who was seething upon hearing this. Dreams for the future, I want to become Hokage and protect the village, for it is my duty, and also restore my clan to greatness, he said. Naruto Baka, you don't have a clan. Why are you lying? You are just a clanless loser. I'm sure your parents were stupid idiots who left you cause they realized you were worse than them. Sakura said to him, trying to take a pot shot at Naruto for having insulted her. Oh, Kakashi thought as Naruto stuck one of his hands and turned away from them. Bansho Tenin, he said as Sakura flew towards him, while another hand formed a blue swirling ball that looked dangerous. Sakura came and his hand landed straight on her neck as the other hand with the blue ball came very close to her head. However, at the very last moment, the ball disappeared, and Naruto simply smacked Sakura on her forehead. You could have died, Sakura-chan, he said, spitting every word. Be glad that you are a comrade, Naruto finished. While Kakashi was sweating, he thought for sure that Naruto would finish her off. Do not insult my family ever again. Do you hear me? He said, tightening the grip on her neck. Sakura nodded. The message received loud and clear. This guy is Sasuke thought. How much is he hiding from all of us? Sasuke thought. Sasuke, are you going to introduce yourself? Naruto said as he released to Sakura, who was coughing and looking at Naruto, eyes full of fear. I am Sasuke Uchiha. I don't particularly like or dislike anything. My dream is to restore my clan and kill a certain someone. Okay, Kakashi said. Meet me at Training Ground 10 tomorrow, at 5 a.m. for your final test before you become a genin, he said, sighing when he realized that they already knew that they were going to take a test. Don't eat breakfast, he said. You will puke it out if you do. He finished. Team 7 nodded. Dismissed, Kakashi said. Naruto, you stay back. I want to talk to you, he said. Sasuke and Sakura left while Kakashi stared at Naruto. There was almost a 5-minute-long silence between them before Kakashi spoke up. What was that? Why? He asked Naruto. She insulted my parents. I can stand it if she insults me. But she insulted my mom and dad, the reason she is alive right now, he said. Kakashi sighed. Naruto, I know, but in your life as a ninja you will find that many people will try to goad you into getting a reaction. Are you going to foolishly be goaded into doing something reckless? He asked Naruto, who shook his head. Remember, Kushina and Minato-sensei were very close to me too. They meant everything to me ever since my teammates had passed away, and I was angry too. But did you see me prepare a Chidori to shove down her chest? He asked Naruto, who shook his head. I know you are still a little green, but you need to learn to control your emotions, he said. Okay? He asked Naruto, who nodded before smiling. I guess I will apologize to her tomorrow, he said. See ya, Kakashi-sensei, he said before vanishing in a crackle of electricity. That was cool. I wonder how he did that, Kakashi thought before leaving. XL. Uzumaki. I am talking to you, a voice said. Naruto was just outside his apartment when he heard someone call out to him. He turned around and saw that it was a pink-haired woman, who was like Sakura, except she was a bit more adult-looking. Can I ask you why you threatened killing my daughter? After all, I have never ever mistreated you like the others, she said. It was true. Sakuya Haruno knew that Naruto was different from the monster, because she knew his mother, Kushina Uzumaki. She was one of the few civilians aware of Kushina's Jinchuriki status, and Kushina was one of her best friends, alongside Hitomi Hyuga. Who are you? Naruto asked the woman, who was clearly Sakura's mother. Sakuya Haruno, she said. Well, she insulted my parents, you know that? He asked her. She shook her head. Sakura had left that bit out. I can't stand anyone insulting my parents, and so I lost control of the situation. I will apologize tomorrow, he finished. You know who your parents are. Sakuya asked him how your parents died on the night the QB was sealed into you. I mean, so many deaths on that day. No one actually knows who exactly are your parents, she said. Naruto smiled. So, you think I am a demon? He said. Sakuya shook her head. She thought the boy had been given a raw deal and wanted to tell him. You are really courageous, he said. I wish Konoha had ninjas like you, he said. Sakuya was confused. What do you mean by that? She asked him. Naruto stared at the woman. You go against the villagers like that. I wish there were more people like you, he said simply. Oh, and by the way, I know who my parents were. But I don't think I will tell you, he said before pulling her inside the apartment and sitting her down on a chair in the apartment. Now Sakuya was petrified. What are you going to do to me? She asked, scared. Naruto smiled. Nothing. Just give you something to drink because you seem friendly, he said as he took out a glass and poured some orange soda in it, before taking a swig from the bottle and giving the glass to Sakuya to drink. Not poisoned, Naruto said as Sakuya looked at him shocked. Naruto, I don't think... Just drink, he said. I apologize to you. I wish your daughter was as tolerable as you are. I guess that wide forehead of yours holds some intelligence. Unlike your daughter? He said, smiling. Sakuya smiled. Your mother used to make fun of me too, she said. Kushina, you are more like her. Unfortunately, I don't know who your father is, but I can guess, she said. You knew my mother, Naruto asked her, in shock. Sakuya nodded. Yes, she had that demon fox in her as well. She was just like you. So I do not hate you like the others, she said to him. Can you tell me about my mother? He asked her, desperate to know anything. She nodded and spent most of the night telling him funny things about his mother. As she was leaving, Naruto promised that he would apologize to Sakura first thing tomorrow. However, Sakuya waved him off and told him that Sakura would be punished for what she had said to Naruto before leaving. She also implored Naruto to visit from time to time for dinner. Naruto promised her that he would, and he would visit. XL.
The next morning Naruto showed up at 7 in the morning to find Sakura and Sasuke, both of them looking a bit angry at the fact that Naruto had shown up 2 hours late. Kakashi was still nowhere in sight.
Naruto, can I speak to you? Sakura asked him before taking him to a secluded place away from Sasuke. My mother says I have to apologize to you, and I agree with her. Apparently my mother knows your mom, and she says that I insulted one of her best friends. Please forgive me, she said slowly. Naruto smiled. Think nothing about it, Sakura. It's my fault too. This wouldn't have happened. Had I lost my temper, but I think I am glad it happened. 'Cause I found something close to family, and your mom told me lots of things about mine. So all is forgiven. I hope you can do the same for me, he said. She nodded. It's my fault, Naruto. I always wanted to prove myself to Sasuke-kun, and I was just not behaving the way I should have. But I had time to think. You were stronger yesterday. You could have taken my head off, and I was angry at first. But the more I thought about it, I realized that all I have ever done is hold you back. It's my fault, she said to him. Naruto smiled. You know, you could always train and get stronger. Maybe Sasuke will notice you more, he said. Sakura smiled. You really think so? She asked him. Naruto nodded. Unless he is gay, that is. But I don't think he is, he said, which made Sakura giggle. Can you help me grow stronger so that I can impress Sasuke-kun? She asked him. Naruto's grin faded. I will help you grow stronger, but I will only do that the moment you get your priorities right, he said. Upon seeing Sakura's expression, he decided he would elaborate. Sasuke is not the reason you should grow strong. You should gain strength to protect your precious people. The day you realize this, I will help you. But I don't think I will need to help you then, for you will grow stronger no matter what, he said. And trust me, don't let people tell you you hold them back. Try proving them wrong. Train to show that they are wrong. There is no greater satisfaction in life than proving the naysayers wrong. Trust me, he said, smiling. Sakura smiled too. Friends, she asked him, extending her hand. Naruto smiled. Sure, just try not fangirling too much, and we will be fine, he said, taking her hand and shaking it. Sakura scowled at that, before smiling again. Naruto saw Sasuke coming towards them and smiled. All right, people. Whatever this test is, we have to work as a team, so as long as we do that, we will be fine. Ready? He asked them. They nodded. Just then, Kakashi materialized from out of nowhere and saw Team 7 sitting together. They looked united. Ah, looks like they will pass. I hope they stay this way. We might have one of the strongest team to come out of Konoha ever since the 3 legendary Sannin themselves. Good, Sorry I am late. I was helping an old woman with her groceries, he said. Naruto smiled. I came late, too, Kakashi-sensei. I was lost on the road of life, and was looking for a map. Good. Now for your test. All you have to do is take these bells from me. If anybody does not do that by lunch, I send you back to the academy, he said simply. All right, begin, he said as he attached the 2 bells hanging around his waist. XL. Team 7 was hiding together. There are 3 of us and only 2 bells. What do we do, Naruto? Sasuke asked him. Kakashi never said that each of us have to grab a bell, so we will divide those bells into 3 and pass. Now, here's the plan. I fight him first and hold him. Sasuke and Sakura can sneak around him and try to grab the bells, all right? He asked them. Naruto, why don't you just do your gravity technique you used on me? Sakura asked him. I can't. The aim is difficult as the area I am aiming for is very thin. Don't worry, we'll pass, he said before stepping out. Keep eyes on him, Sakura. We have to sense the appropriate moment and steal the bells, Sasuke said. Sakura nodded. She had to be successful and not hold anyone back. XL. Kakashi, sensei. Naruto said, his Rinnegan eyes activated as he stared calmly at Kakashi. Don't hold back, he said simply. Kakashi smiled. Those eyes Sasuke and Sakura thought together. What happened to them? You think you can survive a full onslaught from me? He asked Naruto, who nodded. We have never sparred, have we? He asked him. Okay then, Kakashi-sensei, he said, smiling. Lesson 1. Taijutsu, he said before disappearing, and reappearing behind Kakashi, and lashing out a palm at him, which Kakashi barely got to. Naruto unleashed a flurry of jabs and kicks while trying to land a hit. However, to Kakashi's credit, he blocked them all. However, the fight was getting too hard to focus on to the naked eyes, and Sasuke and Sakura were feeling it. I can't keep up. When did he get so strong? Sasuke thought. Sakura thought. The fight continued before Naruto finally managed landing a kick. However, Kakashi flipped away and landed at some distance. Naruto immediately formed hand seals. Lesson 2. Genjutsu, Naruto said as Kakashi's eyes widened. Naruto had too much chakra to perform those. Illusion technique. Infinite darkness. Naruto said, and the effect was instantaneous. Kakashi was surrounded by complete darkness. But to Sakura and Sasuke, it did not really matter. So you can do this too, eh? He asked Naruto. However, he couldn't see Naruto nodding. Too bad, Naruto, you will find that even in darkness, I am really very competent, he said. We'll see about that, Naruto said as they began exchanging blows again. Kakashi was relying on sound to counter Naruto. With more mastery of this technique, you will be able to cancel out sound too, and then I will be in trouble. Kakashi said simply as he was blocking. Back behind the bushes, Sasuke realized what happened. Sakura, Kakashi is in a genjutsu. Come on, we have a chance. Let's go, he said. Sakura nodded and followed Sasuke as they began making their way towards Kakashi. The battle was still raging though, you know. Maybe you want to check. There are some ways I can break this. You know, Kakashi said before slashing himself with a kunai. Pain shit, Naruto thought. Sakura, Sasuke Kakashi said, teasing them, as he threw a kunai into the bush nearby. They were closer. They were trying to sneak up to Kakashi. Nice try, but too late, Kakashi said as Sasuke rushed out trying to get the drop on him. But did you think that would work? He asked Sasuke mockingly. Fire. Style. Phoenix flower technique. Sasuke said, shooting out small balls of fire that Kakashi effortlessly dodged. Naruto took the opportunity. Wind style. Divine wind, he said as 4 pillars of wind formed and made their way towards Kakashi as they kicked up dirt from the ground. Sasuke caught on to what Naruto was doing and left small fireballs towards the wind, which immediately ignited and came blazing towards him. There was a massive ball of fire when the jutsu made contact with Kakashi, but when the smoke cleared, it was not Kakashi who was present, but a log. Damn. It's Sasuke thought. Sakura. Naruto called out. Kakashi had emerged behind Sakura as Naruto did not have any idea about what to do, so he did the first thing that came to his mind. He sunshined towards Sakura and managed taking her before Kakashi could strike. The crackle of electricity held Kakashi back, which gave Sasuke enough time to perform a jutsu of his own. Fire. Style. Fireball. Jutsu, Sasuke said, inhaling and forming a large fireball that was burning everything in its path and heading towards Kakashi, who jumped away in time, only to land into a trap. Who set a trap so fast? Kakashi thought as he substituted himself, barely doing it in time as he escaped. This bastard keeps escaping, Sasuke said. Sakura and Naruto watched it from a distance. That was impressive, Naruto said as he let Sakura go, who thanked him. That's what teammates do, he said. Think nothing about it, he said, smiling. Oh, really? Kakashi asked him. He had emerged behind him as he hit Naruto on the head. Sakura, now would be a good time, Naruto said as the kunai's hilt landed and Naruto dissolved into wood. Wood clone, Kakashi thought. How is that possible? Sakura realized what had happened and seized the bells and made a run for it. She ran into the clearing where she found Naruto and Sasuke smiling at her. She had done it. Good job, Sakura, Sasuke said as he cut one bell into two and gave one half to Naruto, keeping the other for himself, while giving Sakura a whole bell. Kakashi said, smiling. Nice job. Not only did Naruto keep me busy and provided shock value, Sasuke and Sakura performed their jobs admirably. I dare say you seized the bells from me. So you pass, he said. Naruto smiled. Maybe a team wouldn't be so bad after all. Jutsu, Sasuke said, inhaling and forming a large fireball that was burning everything in its path and heading towards Kakashi, who jumped away in time, only to land into a trap. Who set a trap so fast? Kakashi thought as he substituted himself, barely doing it in time as he escaped. This bastard keeps escaping, Sasuke said. Sakura and Naruto watched it from a distance. That was impressive, Naruto said as he let Sakura go, who thanked him. That's what teammates do, he said. Think nothing about it, he said, smiling. Oh, really? Kakashi asked him. He had emerged behind him as he hit Naruto on the head. Sakura, now would be a good time, Naruto said as the kunai's hilt landed and Naruto dissolved into wood. Wood clone, Kakashi thought. How is that possible? Sakura realized what had happened and seized the bells and made a run for it. She ran into the clearing where she found Naruto and Sasuke smiling at her. She had done it. Good job, Sakura, Sasuke said as he cut one bell into two and gave one half to Naruto, keeping the other for himself, while giving Sakura a whole bell. Kakashi said, smiling. Nice job. Not only did Naruto keep me busy and provided shock value, Sasuke and Sakura performed their jobs admirably. I dare say you seized the bells from me. So you pass, he said. Naruto smiled. Maybe a team wouldn't be so bad after all. I think you guys realize the importance of working as a team, because in the shinobi world, those who disobey the rules are trash, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than trash. Always remember that and make sure that you guys work together like you did today. And we might have one of the best teams to ever come out of this village, Kakashi said, which made Naruto and Sakura smile with pride, while Sasuke merely smirked. Naruto, what are those eyes? They look weird, Sakura said, indicating the strange ripple-patterned eyes that Naruto possessed. That single Tamo there is like the Sharingan. I wonder what that is. Is that a Dojutsu? Sasuke asked him. Naruto sighed. About time that he said something to someone about his abilities. Yes, he said. Like the Sharingan, this is also a Dojutsu. It's called the Rinnegan. But I want you to keep it quiet, he said to Sasuke, who nodded. Why do you want to keep it quiet, Naruto? Sakura asked him. I have my reasons. Just do what I say for now. Don't tell anyone. It'll be all right then, Naruto said. His teammates nodded. What power do those eyes give you? Is that the power of gravity I saw you use? Sasuke asked him. Naruto nodded.
Yes, there are some other things. I haven't discovered it yet, so even I don't know. Since I am the last clan member to possess these eyes, I don't have anyone to teach me, so I guess I will learn it as I go along, Naruto said.
Naruto, how did you do the wood clone? Kakashi asked Naruto. These eyes give me control over all the 5 basic chakra natures, and I can combine them to form sub-elemental chakra as well. As a matter of fact, I also have ice release and storm release and many others. It's really cool, he said. Interesting, Kakashi said. This would have to go to the Hokage. Well, I guess we should be heading home. Tomorrow the team reports for out first mission, Kakashi said. Alright, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said delighted. The team dispersed as Kakashi vanished while the rest of them began walking together back to the village. Sasuke-kun, do you want to go on a date with me? Sakura asked him. Sasuke didn't respond. Naruto saw this and smiled. Sasuke, why don't you just say yes for once? I mean, what can you lose? He asked him. I have to get strong, Naruto, to beat him. I can't waste my time on dates, Sasuke said, which made Sakura look crushed. However, Naruto just smiled. So you still don't know what true strength is, do you? Naruto asked him. Sasuke raised an eyebrow towards him. One of these days you are going to realize what true strength is, and then you are going to stalk Sakura. I tell you that, he said, laughing. Take that back, I will never stalk anyone. I'm too good for that, Sasuke said, gritting his teeth. Sakura giggled at the comment Naruto had made. We'll see about that. I am going to Ichiraku's for ramen, Naruto said. Anybody want to come with? He asked them. There was silence as both of them stared at him. You eat too much ramen, Naruto. Sakura said. It can't be too good for your health, she said. Naruto shrugged. Who cares? I never get sick, he said as he vanished in a sparkle of electricity. Okay, I have to ask him to teach me that, Sasuke said, sounding exasperated. Sakura nodded in affirmation. She wanted to learn that too. XL. Yo, Naruto said to the old man Tucci, as he materialized out of nowhere, and caused Tucci to knock off a ramen bowl that was in his hands, and cause a giant mess. Are you crazy, Naruto? The old man asked him. What were you thinking? Did you think it was fun for me, huh? He asked Naruto, who was laughing away. Oh, come on, old man. You know I make up for it by ordering so much ramen, he said, to which Tucci smiled. That was true, the kid did eat a lot of ramen. So, the usual, eh? He asked Naruto, who nodded. Yep. Naruto sat down and began the wait for what he considered was food sent by Kami itself. Ramen. He began looking around town. There were some familiar people he recognized, one of which was Rock Lee and his teacher Mike Guy. He waved to them, which brought them over to the ramen place. Naruto-kun, Lee said, sounding extremely excited, I am looking forward to a spar with you one of these days. I hope that they are as youthful as every other spar we have ever had, he said. Naruto smiled. The enthusiasm that Lee displayed was contagious. Sure, maybe someday, Naruto said, before looking at his other 2 teammates. One of them looked like a panda with buns instead of hair. The other one also looked effeminate, thanks to long hair and a girlish presence. However, this was a Hyuga. Naruto-kun, my guy, said pompously. Meet the other 2 prodigies of youthfulness, Neji Hyuga and Tenten, he said before posing dramatically. Sorry, Guy, Naruto said. Did you say something? He asked him, which made Guy open his mouth and shout, What? And then burst into tears that flew from his eyes like they were the great river Nile. Damn, you Naruto and your hip attitude. Wait, that does not seem right when I say it like that, Guy said before deciding that it was not worth the trouble and smiling anyway. So your teammates, eh? Lee, how do you like your team? He asked Lee, who smiled enthusiastically. This kid did everything enthusiastically. They are extremely youthful. Heiji here is my ultimate rival. I strive to get stronger, so that I can defeat him, Naruto-kun, Lee said, smiling. Naruto nodded. I think having an ultimate rival is a great thing, Lee. I am sure you will be able to defeat Neji without any problem, Naruto said. Lee smiled, however, upon hearing this. Neji stiffened. "What did you say?" he asked Naruto. "I said Lee can easily defeat you if he works hard enough," Naruto said to Neji, detecting the tone of Neji's voice and staying on alert. However, Neji did not do anything foolish. He just stepped back and smiled. "As if a person who can't even channel chakra defeat me. Fate has dealt Lee the wrong cards, you know. He can never beat me. Just like a dead, last loser, such as you can never beat me," he said to Naruto with a smug smile on his face. Neji Tenten said in a tone that indicated warning. Guy and Lee were too shocked to say anything. "You are a Hyuga, aren't you?" Naruto asked Neji, who nodded. "No wonder you are so pompous. Well, let me tell you something. Neji, there are some eyes that are better than that Byakugan of yours," Naruto said, smiling. Neji snorted. "The Sharingan is no match." "Not the Sharingan," Naruto said. "There is a better dojutsu, but I don't think I will tell someone as meek and lowly as the Hyuga about it," Naruto said. Now it was his turn to wear a smug smile on his face. "You dare insult the Hyuga clan?" Neji asked Naruto, who simply nodded. "I don't care what clan it is. People like you who believe in fate and not even work towards changing it cannot be considered proper shinobi, or even human beings. But keep thinking that way," Naruto said to Neji, who was now visibly angry. "My sister, Hinata-sama," Neji said, spitting out Hinata's name, "told me about you a lot. She said that you never give up whatsoever and keep trying. But what is the point of trying if you don't even have any talent? You are just a big loser. Like my sister Hinata," Neji said. "Don't call her that," Neji, Naruto said. "Just because she is a good human being who shows compassion, don't you dare insult her. She is 10 times the person you can ever be," Naruto said. The conversation was slowly heating up. Lee, Guy, and Tenten did not seem to bother with stopping it. "Good human being, eh?" Neji said with disgust laced in his voice. "We'll see if that helps her become a strong shinobi, Naruto." Naruto smiled, just like Sasuke. "Even you are ignorant as to what true strength is, but the day you realize what it is, the giant stick in your ass will automatically be removed, and you will be cured of your sickness," Naruto said. "Guy-sensei, Lee? Tenten-san? I have to go. I don't think I can stand talking to such a loser," he said. "Of course you have no clan. Your parents probably abandoned you. Your mother and father are probably happy that they left a dead last loser behind. I can't see anybody ever wanting you," Neji said. "Neji, take that back and apologize," Guy said. He knew Naruto's mother and father, although the kid himself did not know, and he knew that Naruto would find is touchy. "It's okay, Guy-sensei. It's all right. I know how my parents died, and where they are right now, I know it. But at least they didn't die like Neji's father here," Naruto said. "How dare yo!" "Shut up!" Naruto said, unleashing a wave of ki, upon which Neji paled, even paler than what he actually was. "One day I get my hands on you, Neji, and then for insulting my parents, I will beat the living shit out of you. I will take you to an inch of your measly little life, and make you wish someone activated that cursed seal on your head. And then, if your fate is good, I will leave you that way, or else." Naruto trailed off, unleashing more ki. Neji was almost paralyzed at this point. Naruto was using some of his demonic chakra, and that was seriously high grade. Killer intent like that was not pleasant for anyone to ever experience. "Naruto, I apologize on behalf of my teammate Tenten," said. And the ki receded. Neji breathed a sigh of relief. However, he tensed up when he saw Naruto's face and looked into his piercing blue eyes. "I meant every word, Neji. You better not ever run into me. Ever," he said. Neji snorted, but before he could say anything, he was taken away by Guy, Sensei, and Lee. Tenten had an apologetic look on her face as she left, bidding Naruto a goodbye. Naruto sighed. He finished what remained of that ramen. The encounter with Neji had put a bad taste in his mouth, and the appetite he had worked up had vanished. XL. He can make wood clones. Did you know that, Sandaime-sama? Kakashi asked the Hokage. They were in the Hokage's office and Sarutobi was buried in mounds of paperwork, wondering about how he could possibly escape the punishment that was given to him. Sometimes he wished he had never become the Hokage. Yes. Naruto told me about his ability to combine nature chakras and create the sub-elements. It's very tempting, don't you think? Those eyes of his, we need to keep this hidden for as long as possible. Otherwise, there might be people, including some on the council itself, that might do something out of jealousy, he finished. I agree, although it was surprising when he used that technique. I was forced to drop my guard down and Sakura stole the bells. That was some fine teamwork. They have potential, Kakashi said. Kakashi, you might be right. Wait for the other Jonins to turn in their evaluation results, will you? Let's see if the Ino Shikacho trio and Team 8, the other two teams with potentials mirroring your own team, pass. Sarutobi said. Kakashi nodded. Just then the door opened, and Azuma and Kurenai came in. Holding hands, Kakashi and Sarutobi both raised an eyebrow when they saw that, and Kakashi giggled while Sarutobi stifled a laugh. Kurenai blushed as she detached her hand from Azuma's and stood away. The public display of affection was not intentional and completely by accident, as even Azuma seemed to realize that maybe that was not the best idea. About time, Azuma the Hokage said. So how did your team do? Brilliant, Azuma said. They realized soon enough that they had to work as a team, and Shikamaru has potential. He is just very lazy. Choji is loyal to Shikamaru, and Ino is a loudmouth, but when forced, she worked fine with them together. Looks like they had it in their genes to be a good team, Azuma finished. Sarutobi smiled before turning to Kurenai. Oh yes, Kurenai said. Team 8 passed with flying colors. They realized the importance of teamwork. Hinata is a total team player, and Kiba might be a hothead, but he is a good person, and did what the leader Shino asked them to. Shino has the potential to be a strong squad leader. I think we as a whole unit make a fine tracker team. With dogs, bugs, and Baikugan, Kurenai finished. Good. Kakashi has passed his team too. The other teams have failed, so I guess you are the official Rookie 9 of this year. Sarutobi finished. Kurenai was staring at Kakashi, shocked that he had passed a team, but Azuma grinned. The strongest Rookie 9 to have come out of Konoha in quite some time, Hokage-sama Asuma, said. Sarutobi nodded. Correct. Well, let's introduce them to the joys of D ranks tomorrow. Okay? Sarutobi said. Azuma smiled. So did Kakashi and Kurenai. This was going to be fun. They were looking forward to seeing the reaction of the genin to all the boring missions they would have to accomplish. XL. Okay, that's it. I am fed up of that damn cat, Naruto said. I will kill it and spray its brains all over the wall, and feed it to the Inuzuka dogs if I have to catch that thing one more time. He finished before crossing his arms, and sitting down cross-legged, obviously sounding pissed off. Naruto Iruka said, sounding angry. Show some respect to the Hokage, will you? You are a genin. You start off by doing some low-ranked missions, he said. You are not ready to take on something more serious, he finished. Oh, come on, Iruka-sensei. You of all people do not believe that, Naruto said before pouting. This is serious. I am sick of doing those stupid D ranks. Why should I have to clean a fence? Let the people clean their own damn fence, Naruto said. Sasuke nodded while Sakura was looking down, afraid of what the Hokage might say. However, Sarutobi was smiling. I see, Iruka. Naruto wants to prove himself to everyone. He wants to get started on doing serious things right away, he said. It had been 2 weeks since they had been a team, and all of them were forced to do menial things such as catch a cat or walk the dogs. And Naruto was getting sicker of it. Today, he had reached the breaking point. What do you think, Kakashi? Are they ready to take a C-rank mission? He asked Kakashi, who nodded.
Yes, I think they will do okay on a C-rank mission, he said. Sarutobi nodded.
Okay, let's see, Iruka. Find a C-rank mission for our team, will you? He said. Iruka was stunned. Hokage-sama, Iruka said in protest. You can't possibly. Why? Trust. Naruto Iruka Sarutobi said, effectively silencing him. Naruto is strong, he will be fine. Don't worry. Plus he has to start sometime, right? Yeah, Iruka-sensei. Don't worry about me, I am awesome. I will do it, he said confidently. Sarutobi and Iruka smiled. Okay, Iruka said, going through the files on the table in front of him. There is an escort mission to Wave, he said. That should be a nice starting mission, Hokage-sama, Iruka said. Ah, Tazuna-san, eh? I think that is a good choice. Send him in, he called out as the door opened, and in stepped an old man who was drunk. I know this guy, Naruto thought as he went back to the time he had been in the Wave. This was the father of the guy who had lent them a boat to go to the Wave. However, the details of that mission were a secret, so Naruto did not say anything. Meanwhile, Tazuna stared at Naruto, but did not recognize him. The guy was drunk then too. He wouldn't have recognized me no matter what, Naruto thought. This is good. I can stay hidden, he thought. Alright, so you gave me brats for my protection. How shameful, Tazuna said, which caused Sasuke and Sakura to glare at him, while Naruto just stared at Tazuna. You are too drunk. There is a high probability that the only person we have to save you from is you yourself, Naruto said, which made Tazuna smile. I am Tazuna, a master bridge builder. I am too good for this. I wanted real protection, not stupid kids like you, midget, he said to Naruto. Naruto fumed. That was it. Tazuna made fun of his height for the first and last time. Easy. Naruto Kakashi said, sensing the turmoil that Naruto was facing. Don't you go killing our client now? We need him alive, he said. Naruto nodded. Maybe killing off the client would not be such a good idea. However, he remembered that the Wave he had visited was extremely poor. He wondered if things got better. Alright, Hokage-sama, we will take our mission and head to the Wave. We will take our leave now, he said. The Hokage nodded. Do that, he said simply. Tazuna-san, Kakashi is one of my best men. Even then, I think he will not be necessary. The kids you speak of are more than competent to finish your escort and protection on their own, he said. Tazuna nodded. Fine, if you say so, Tazuna said. Listen up, we will leave tomorrow when I am more sober than what I am now. You okay with that? He asked the team. They nodded. Great, then. I will see you tomorrow, don't be late, he said. The team looked at Kakashi, who sighed. Okay, I'll be on time, Kakashi said. The Junin had shown up at least an hour late to every single team meeting. Team 7 had no reason to believe that he would actually show up on time for anything. No. Seriously. I take my missions seriously, Kakashi said. We'll see about that, Sensei, old man. I want to talk to you, he said, looking at the Hokage. Alone. The old man sighed. Naruto, meet me in an hour when I am alone. And then you can say what you want to say, Sarutobi finished. Naruto nodded. Alright then, anyone want some ramen? Naruto asked no one in particular. They all sighed. This had become some sort of a joke among the other members of his team. They would take bets on whether Naruto would ask them for ramen or not. Kakashi won almost every single one, because he bet that Naruto would ask for ramen daily. Naruto sighed. Looked like no one on his team agreed with him on the fact that ramen was sent to the humans by the gods. The last few weeks had been eventful to him for one reason, and one reason only. He had begun practicing from the scroll of sealing, and had found some downright creepy stuff there. One of it was the Ito Tensei summoning jutsu, which could revive the death, invented by the Nidaime Hokage. He also found tons of other jutsu that required godly amounts of chakra to use. Fortunately, thanks to the Rinnegan, Naruto's Uzumaki traits, and the QB in Naruto had more. He had also discovered the Chibaku Tensei, one of the most powerful jutsus of his Rinnegan, that could pull objects in the vicinity by extreme gravitational pull to create a huge sphere that could obliterate everything trapped within it. Naruto sighed as he looked back on how he had discovered the technique a few days ago. Flashback. Ever since Naruto had returned from the village, he had brought millions of scrolls with him that he could access via a special pocket jutsu that his grandfather had created. by altering the dimensions itself. Naruto's grandfather, one of the most accomplished sealing masters to have ever walked the face of the earth, had created a mini-dimension which acted as sort of a portal between two places. Thus one could step into the portal from one place and come out the other. Naruto had used this technique exclusively to withdraw money from the gigantic amount of wealth that was found in the vaults of his grandfather's dilapidated mansion. Or at least it appeared to those who were not Uzumaki by blood. To the Uzumaki, it was revealed that the place was not as devastated as it looked to the others. Thanks. However, once he began stepping in and was granted full access to the mansion, the several Uzumaki scrolls that were kept there for him to use were available. He had sent several clones to comb through them. Several dispersed and returned with complex seal formulae that were for mostly unfinished seals that could wreak havoc if ever unleashed. He also came across some weapons that he couldn't inherit now that he had inherited the Sword of the Butterfly. At least, that's what his grandpa had called it. It was here he read that only Uzumaki were known to ever possess the Rinnegan, as the first ever Uzumaki was a descendant of both the sons of the Sage of Six Paths, and the last person to have possessed the eyes was Kogoro Uzumaki, almost a century ago, and even he had not managed to unlock the full potential of the Rinnegan. However, one of the jutsu that he had used was the Chibaku Tensei. Upon reading this, Naruto's interest perked, and he was tempted to Naruto read some more about the fable of the Sage of Six Paths. However, Kurama scoffed and told him that none of what he had read was a fable. It was all real. The sage was the creator of the shinobi way, the creator of all jutsu, and also had a really complex jutsu known as the creation of all things, which Kurama had explained to him. Many eons ago, the old man had within him the Jubai, a 10-tailed monstrosity that was the most dangerous demon to walk the earth, and was said by many to be the embodiment of destruction. However, the old man had sealed this Jubai in himself, and made sure that peace would prevail, and it stayed that way for many days before it came the time for the sage to die, and he knew that his death would unleash the Jubai again. So he used the jutsu of his cowled creation, of all things, to split the Jubai and create knife, spread out and eventually captured and used as a weapon. Kurama told him when Naruto had asked him about it. Sword itself had some things to say about the sage. The sage was very noble and kind. He had two sons between which he split his powers. The elder son got his power, while the younger one got his knowledge. You can say that he split the whole concept of yin-yang release between the two sons of his. However, the two sons eventually began a rivalry that continued for ages. The first brother was the ancestor of the Uchiha, while the younger was the ancestor of the Uchiha, while the younger was the ancestor of the Senju. The two of them were cursed to battle each other. However, now only one Senju and two Uchiha remain. The rivalry may be coming. One last Senju. Who are you talking about? Naruto had asked him. He knew that Sasuke and Itachi were the last living Uchiha. So native of the Sannin, her name was well known even in Uzushi. Last thing I heard was that she survived, the sword said. And Naruto nodded. Iro Sennin had told him about his hot-headed teammate. Naruto, for some reason, you having the Rinnegan and a beast in you means that you are closer to the sage than I could even imagine. No wonder you have my support. You realize that you have a lot to live up to, don't you? The fox had asked him. Naruto had gulped then. He seriously was nothing compared to the Sage of Six Paths. I have to practice this Chibaku Tensei. This guy speaks of, he said to no one in particular. End flashback. XL. Somewhere in Uzushigakure, there were two figures walking towards an old-looking building. One of them was frail and wheelchair-bound. The other was a beautiful woman with purple hair. The woman made some hand seals, and all of a sudden, a paper was summoned which shaped itself into a bird before flying away. Can you see it? The man asked the woman. The woman nodded. So you have to be with an Uzumaki to see what is actually in the village. Nagato, you might be right. I was here a week ago. All my paper clone could see were ruins. Apparently, the village is better hidden than I thought, she said to the man named Nagato. Even though the security was not too good, she said, I got in easily. Nagato smiled. He had red hair and a really frail body. He also had fascinating eyes. ripple-patterned and purple-colored. The eyes were mystifying to look at. That was what the woman would see every time she looked at Nagato. His eyes... "Don't sell yourself short, Conan. I am sure you played a huge part in sneaking in," Nagato said to her, causing Conan to smile. Neither of them seemed to notice the rain that had started pouring. "I don't sense anyone here, at least my rain doesn't," Nagato said. Conan nodded. "Are we going to find anything here, Nagato?" Conan said to him. Nagato nodded. "If what I dreamed was correct, then the last of my relatives is alive, and he is here somewhere. He has been here? I can feel it. I know he was here," he said. "We can find him and take him with us. Can you imagine, if I were to teach him myself, how strong that child would be?" Conan nodded. "If you teach him, I am sure he will be strong, Nagato," she said, smiling. "Unfortunately, you won't be teaching him," a voice said, appearing from out of nowhere. It was a masked man. He wore something that had swirls on it and was orange-colored. Conan stiffened, but Nagato held his hand up. "Your relative is safe for now, Nagato. You can pursue him later. For now, I want you to come with me," the man in the mask said. "Who are you?" Nagato asked the man. "Uchiha Madara. XL. Land of the Waves." The office of Gato was a really fascinating place. It always seemed to be full of drunks and beautiful-looking women. Currently, he was surrounded by two of them. Almost naked, he was talking to a masked person with no eyebrows, and what most people would describe as a giant sword that resembled a cleaver. "You know Tazuna, your job is to kill him," Gato said to the man in front of him. Compared to Gato's dwarfish height, the man looked like a giant... "Bridge builder, what is so problematic that you need a shinobi to kill him?" the man asked in an amused tone. "Just make sure that you and your bitch kill him, Zabuza. I don't pay you to ask questions," Gato said, feeling more courageous than he should have at that moment. Zabuza's mouth twitched. "I haven't accepted the mission yet." "Gato, believe me you when I say I can cut your head where you stand and finished with those two women," he said, pointing towards the two attractive and almost naked women that were around Gato. And Zabuza continued before unleashing his sword and pointing it in a way that it just reached Gato's head. "Never ever ever insult Haku. You get that?" he asked Gato, who nodded. "Do you accept?" he asked Zabuza, who nodded. "Yes. I want advance payment for this Gato. This Tazuna person gives off a strange vibe. I have a feeling that I will have some problem dealing with him," he said. XL. Konohagakure. Outskirts. "Hey Kakashi-sensei, I can't believe you actually made it on time this time," Naruto said, grinning. It was the day after they had received their first ever C-rank mission from the Hokage, and they were supposed to escort an alcoholic bridge builder to the Land of Waves. And Naruto was excited. He wanted to see what had changed in the waves since the last time he had been there. He had also wanted to see if the other man... Kaiza, who had also wanted to see if the other man... Kaiza, who had... Well, Naruto, this was a mission. How could I possibly be late? Kakashi asked Naruto, who nodded in agreement. "Anyway, now that we are here, let's go," Sasuke said, getting straight to the point. "All right, I will be at the back. Naruto, you can take point." "Don't worry," he said to Naruto, who just scoffed before moving front. Sakura and Sasuke to the sides. "Let's keep those eyes and ears open." Sakura and Sasuke nodded, and they were on their way. Thanks to the presence of Tazuna, Naruto felt that their speed was greatly hindered, while Kakashi, who was getting bored, mused whether he should take out one of his books and start reading. Just then, Naruto noticed a water puddle. A water puddle when it hadn't rained for weeks. What the hell? There's some ninja hiding. It's an ambush. But who the hell are they planning the ambush for? Naruto thought. Kakashi was thinking along the same lines. Should I attack, or should I wait for them to come at us and then determine the target? Naruto decided to say nothing to Kakashi and just get moving. Hopefully they would be able to find out who the people who had planned the ambush were after. Just then, two ninjas emerged from the water puddle and attacked from behind, and just as Kakashi turned, he was slashed into half. Sakura let out a cry of alarm, while Sasuke took out some shuriken and aimed it at the chains the two ninja who had just come in full view carried. The shuriken hit and the ninjas were pinned down.
Naruto knew that Kakashi was still alive, so he wasn't as bothered as Sakura and Sasuke looked. Meanwhile, one of the brothers had started making a charge towards Tazuna.
I knew this bastard was lying, Naruto thought, before jumping and forming a blue ball of chakra in his hand. Rasengan, he said, smashing that ball into one of the ninja's face, while Sasuke was engaged in a taijutsu battle with the second. The Rasengan hit and drilled the ninja's face. He was dead instantly. Upon seeing the first ninja dead, the second lost his orientation, and Sasuke managed to land a kick on the guy's head and promptly knocked him out. Wait. Nicely done, Sasuke, Naruto said to Sasuke, who nodded in acknowledgement. You didn't do too bad yourself, Naruto, he said, who nodded as he formed some hand seals. Summoning technique. King of Hell. What the hell? Sasuke thought. Summoning technique. What is this guy doing? A weird tentacle-shaped creature began moving and attached itself to the demonic statue, while Sasuke and Sakura could not see it. Tell me, who are you? And who do you work for? Naruto asked him. You killed my brother. Why should I tell you? He asked Naruto before the tentacles tightened, causing more pain. This can go on forever, you know, Naruto said. Tell me who hired you and save yourself, he said. Never, the man said. Naruto sighed. Fine. I shall pass judgment then, he said. The tentacles pulled out of the man as he died, screaming. I didn't want to do that, Naruto thought, but oh well. What up? Kakashi asked, surprising the hell out of Sasuke and Sakura, who both looked delighted at him appearing. Naruto looked indifferent.
I knew you were alive. Could you get a read on their moves? I am sure they were after Tazuna, but I need a confirmation, he said to Kakashi, who nodded before turning towards Tazuna.
You want to explain, Tazuna-san? He asked him. Okay, I live in the land of waves, and am building a bridge that will connect to the mainland. And I am worried that this bridge, which is an important one that will connect two countries and thus boost waves, trading, and decrease prices, will be hunted down by Gato. The shipping magnate. I knew he would put some ninjas on my trail. But you have to believe me, I put in all the money I had, and all I could afford was a Sakurang mission, please. Please help me, Tazuna almost. Naruto sighed. He had been haunted by the poverty that existed in the wave, and wanted to do something about it. He figured that by ending Gato's influence he would do a whole lot, so he looked at Kakashi. We can do this, Sensei. Come on, he said to Kakashi, who was still pondering. Sasuke and Sakura too decided to tell Kakashi to continue the mission. Fine, Kakashi said, sighing. I will send these bodies to Konoha. Since you killed them, you can claim the bounty on them, Naruto. It will be a big help to your financial situation, he said. Naruto nodded. All right, team, we are going on with this mission, he said. However, he could not shake off the feeling that not everything was right. Phew! Sing a song, rower. Come on, Tazuna, said to a man rowing the boat. Team 7 and their client were well on their way to the land of the waves. It had been about 3 hours since they had been attacked by the demon brothers of the mist, and they were well on their way towards the country. The plan was to first stay at Tazuna's house and then think about where to go from there. For all Kakashi knew, there were more people that Gato had hired to go after Tazuna. Tazuna the rower said, You are drunk again. I need you to shut up now. Everybody nodded. Tazuna had brought a bottle of sake with him that he had been drinking from after the encounter with the Brothers of the Mist, and it was now getting on everyone's nerves. Naruto had almost punched Tazuna, while Sakura and Sasuke hadn't been so physical, but were also fed up with the man's behavior. I need everyone here to stay as quiet as they can be. For all we know, Gato can have eyes and ears everywhere. That scumbag, the rower said. Everyone, even Tazuna, nodded. 5 minutes passed before they hit the shore. There you go, the rower said to them. Kakashi thanked him. The rower shook it off, telling him that he would be doing the whole nation a favor by getting the damn bridge built. Kakashi nodded. He told the rower that he would work towards getting the bridge built. They were soon on their way towards Tazuna's house. The mist that seemed to be in the air had relatively cleared, leaving a relieved Team 7 as they could see more clearly now. However, Naruto had other ideas. "Wait," he said suddenly. They had been walking on the path for quite a while now, with Tazuna telling them where to go. However, Naruto suddenly asked them to stop. While hurling a kunai in the bushes, a squeak told everyone that someone or something had been hit. And sure enough, it was a rabbit that had just begun darting across them. Obviously his progress impeded thanks to the kunai in its throat. "Ah," Naruto Sakura said in a tone that really suggested admonishment more than anything else. Over the last few days she had warmed up to the him. He was also apparently friends with her mother. All this worked in the favor of their friendship, and soon Sakura was also quite close to Naruto. "You killed that cute little bunny," she said, pouting. Before twitching at the sight of the dead rabbit, Naruto did not seemingly react to this. He was stone-faced as he was of late. Team 7 found this new serious Naruto, in contrast with the dead last of the academy, a fresh sort of change. "The rabbit," Naruto said, pointing a finger at it, "white fur coat and all. Why does it have a white coat in this season?" He asked no one in particular. The team just looked at him puzzled. However, Kakashi seemed to catch on. "Right, not in this season at least. That means that this rabbit is domestic. Unlikely, as there are no houses in the vicinity," Kakashi said as Tazuna nodded. His house was still quite a ways away. "That means," Naruto said. "Everybody down now." Kakashi and Naruto both yelled simultaneously as Team 7 ducked, Sakura pulling a dazed Tazuna with her. Tazuna lost balance, and the result was him being comically sprawled on the ground. Somewhere above them, a kunai had barely missed its mark.
"Trouble, again," Naruto whispered as he wordlessly formed a shadow clone. Sasuke and Sakura stared at him in awe. Not many people were actually known to do any jutsu, apart from maybe Kawarimi wordlessly, and this came as a slight shock to them. This shadow clone, much like Naruto, was also down on the ground, waiting to spring up like a wild cat. At that moment, as much as Sakura hated to admit it, Naruto looked very cool.
The mist that they had encountered at the lake earlier returned. This time it was denser than it had ever been. Naruto struck out his hand, and realized that he couldn't even see as far as his hand. He knew for sure that this was a jutsu, and no ordinary jutsu at that. In one of his clan books he had read about this form of killing, using the mist to disguise one's movements and sounds. Naruto had found the idea ingenious, and it was something the legendary Seven Swordsmen seemed to excel in. It was known as the silent killing technique. Naruto also found out that the air around them was getting heavier. It was like somebody had flared some killing intent in their direction.
Naruto saw Sasuke and Sakura stiffen. Tazuna looked like he could have pissed his pants. Naruto was awed by the fact that the so-called master bridge builder, who was also drunk, judging by his antics on the boat, was still wide awake. Naruto realized that despite not being a shinobi himself, Tazuna had probably seen and felt a lot in his time. After all, he had spades of life experience over Naruto and the rest of his team.
A team of brats and a famous ninja. The copy in Kakashi of the Sharingan, a voice called out. Sasuke and Sakura flinched at it. Naruto couldn't help but notice the eerie similarities that this voice had to Kurama's or even his own swords. The mist cleared, not by much, but by enough that Naruto could make out a man, and the outline of what he could only describe as a cleaver strapped to this man's back. They seemed bandaged, based on the muffled sound that this man had made, and to Naruto's amusement, he did not have any eyebrows. Naruto felt that he had seen this man before. Kakashi answered his doubts. "Zabuza," Momoichi Kakashi said, "Demon of the hidden mist." The air was silent. No one was making a sound. You could probably hear a pin drop. The only sound that was actually decipherable was the sound of Tazuna's wheezy breath, that had the stink of alcohol on it. Naruto and the rest of his team, it seemed, had forgotten to take a breath. It was like they were all holding it for something to happen. Something big. Something, dare he say, exciting. Kakashi Hatake recognizes me, the man named Zabuza said. "I am so pleased right now you wouldn't believe. I thought that those eyes of yours would have made you arrogant. Much like the other Uchihas, he said. But I guess not. Or am I right? He asked Kakashi, who shook his head. Unfortunately, I don't think that I resemble the Uchiha. I am a whole different kind of person, you know. Maybe you shouldn't be underestimating me, he said simply. Even in the mist, everyone could make out that Zabuza was smiling. A sick, twisted, and demented smile, worthy of someone who was a demon.
8 points. Zabuza's ominous voice rang from the mist. Larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidneys, heart, he said. Sasuke and Sakura stiffened even more. But there is so little time, Zabuza said, almost in a whine. Kakashi, do not waste what little I actually have. Hand over the bridge builder, Zabuza said as he formed some hand seals.
Water clone. Jutsu, he said as 9 other identical Zabuzas rose from the ground, apart from Naruto, who seemed unfazed. Everybody else was now scared.
Kakashi sighed. He would be forced to use it now. He uncovered his mask, to reveal a red eye with Tomo, 3 to be precise. Sasuke gasped while Naruto seemed surprised. Sakura did not seem to have a clue as to what was going on.
Time seemed to stand still in the mist. Sasuke and Sakura could not move, until they heard what was probably the most reassuring thing they had ever heard in their short lives.
Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, do not panic, you are comrades, I do not leave my comrades, I will protect you. It was Kakashi. It was obvious that he would say something like that, even though the genin in his squad did not know it. Kakashi knew the pain of losing his teammates. His own sensei had sacrificed his life and one of his teammates, and Uchiha of all people would always live through him. He was in his eyes. His other teammate, the only person Kakashi had ever loved, had been driven insane thanks to the torture of the war. If anyone could say things like this to his teammates and fully understand them, it was Kakashi.
Such drivel, Zabuza said as from nowhere he vanished before slashing through Kakashi, who dissolved. Zabuza smiled. Already used the Sharingan to copy my clones, Zabuza said, the tinge of disdain clearly present in his voice. God, I hate that eye. Don't you realize that nothing ever beats the original? He asked no one in particular, however, if someone would strain his eyes to look into the mist and its depths. They would see Kakashi behind Zabuza, kunai at his throat, ready to slash it in a moment's notice. It's over, Kakashi said to Zabuza, who laughed. Even the laugh was slightly maniacal. No, it isn't, Zabuza said before dissolving. This had been a clone too. Another Zabuza clone emerged from the ground. Naruto groaned. It looked like he would need the eyes to keep seeing in the mist, and he wanted a fight. How? Puny Zabuza said, turning his attention to the kids. Are these the brats you swore you would protect, Kakashi? These wannabe ninjas? He asked him, in a mocking tone. Kakashi glared at him. What do these kids even know? Zabuza continued. The sacrifices you need to make for being what you are, a shinobi, is nothing more than a tool. With one and only goal, to kill whoever the client asks to kill. In my opinion, none of you puny little brats are ninja till you make my bingo book, he said. And then began laughing, which unnerved everyone around him.
Enough of this, Kakashi said before charging and engaging Zabuza in a taijutsu. Naruto had to admit that he had newfound respect for his teacher after seeing what he had been seeing. Not only did Kakashi manage to fight his way past the impeding mist, he did so by using a kunai to go through and try evading Zabuza's massive cleaver-like sword. And Kakashi was surprisingly holding up too. They fought for another minute, Kakashi not making any significant progress thanks to the giant cleaver that the man was carrying, stopping him in his tracks. Kakashi jumped away into the water body nearby, not noticing the wicked grin that had crept up on Zabuza's face. However, Naruto did notice it, but could not make out why he had that grin. Was it because of the chance to use ninjutsu, or what was it?
I will end this, Kakashi said. Here and now. Zabuza laughed. Oh, Kakashi, I am way ahead of you, he said as the Zabuza that was speaking suddenly dissolved, and another Zabuza emerged from the water, right behind where Kakashi was standing, and before Kakashi could react, a water body had surrounded him. Everybody knew what that was, water prison jutsu. Kakashi had fallen for something really basic, and it was something Zabuza did not flinch once in pointing out.
The man of 1,000 jutsu, Done in by a technique so simple, he said laughing. All you Konoha Junin like this? He asked the genin who were now even more petrified. Sasuke and Sakura were. Naruto was still not as scared, even though Kakashi's capture had done the trick. It had unnerved him.
That was the grin on his face. It was his plan all along, and Kakashi-sensei could not see it. Naruto thought, this guy is good.
Now, your turn, Zabuza said. I won't need much to deal with you losers. A clone will be enough, the real Zabuza said, his one hand holding the water prison. Naruto realized that that was the hand that needed to be targeted. One of Zabuza's water clones stepped forward and stood facing them.
Don't you think you shouldn't be underestimating us? Naruto asked Zabuza, who laughed. Again, the mist made it seem much more demonic than it actually was. Naruto was, however, unfazed by the whole thing.
Aren't you afraid? He asked Naruto. I mean, come on. This is probably your first real mission. To die on your first real mission is a bummer. I know many who died on their first mission ever. I killed them myself, Zabuza said. You could tell he was grinning like a madman.
Naruto Kakashi called out, finally gaining some sense. This is madness. Don't stay here. Run away with the team. The water clones can't go too far away. Don't worry about me, he said to Naruto, who scoffed. Kakashi was asking his teammates to abandon him. He had seen this all the time in the movies. However, Kakashi's story wasn't going to end in death. Zabuza, Naruto said. I know that you have a comrade here. I just found out, he said. It was true. The clone he had silently created had found a masked-wearing individual who had hit it with a senbon and dispelled it, thus returning its memories to Naruto. Zabuza's eyes widened. It seemed like this was the first time he was surprised today. However, knowing Naruto, there would be some more. How could you possibly know, Brat Zabuza? Asked Naruto, who laughed. Not much like a maniac, but still, good enough. Naruto decided that he was going to mess with Zabuza's head and try angering him, hoping he could make a mistake so that Naruto would be able to free Kakashi without revealing much. He was already thanking his stars that Zabuza did not realize that his eyes were a dojutsu and were extremely powerful. What are you, the dumb demon of the mist? Naruto asked Zabuza, who looked enraged at that. I just bluffed. You took the bait, Naruto said, lying and watching Zabuza seethe, angry at having been outsmarted by a kid. You're a good kid. It's a shame I will have to kill you, he said. Naruto, however, smiled. Really, actually I was looking forward to having to battle that sword of yours with my own, Naruto said before taking out a sealing scroll and instantly passing some chakra through it, thus bringing out his sword. Zabuza paled. It was evident that he recognized that sword after all. It was the sword that had blown away so many Kiri shinobi with its sheer power. Zabuza could not believe it. Kakashi and the rest of Team 7 were even more surprised. Since when did Naruto have a sword? Sakura was thinking about how cool Naruto had suddenly become, while Sasuke was wondering if having a sword like that could help him beat Itachi, and was thinking about asking his teammate about where he could pick up one of those. The sword of the bloody butterfly, Zabuza said. That was in the possession of Takeshi Uzumaki, brat. There is no way something so majestic could come into your hands. And anyway, what do you know about handling a nodachi? Zabuza asked him, mockingly. Naruto smiled. Naruto-sama, so you finally use me, and it's against the Kubikira Boko. I shall enjoy this fight. Do not forget to channel chakra, and remember that I can also be used long-range, the sword said. Naruto nodded, but was amazed at the fact that Zabuza's sword was that famous. But then again, being the demon of the hidden mist came with its perks. Alright, but first let's get all clones out of the way. Except one, Naruto said. Shinra Tensei, he said, as a huge invisible wave seemed to erupt and knock out all the clones, except the one on the front of the water prison, protecting the original Zabuza, who wasn't so sure now about facing the kid. He knocked out all the clones in a single sweep. What the hell is this guy? Sakura and Sasuke had similar thoughts. How strong is this guy? And he was the dead last too. I can't slack off, Sasuke thought. Sakura had almost identical thoughts. And to think that I used to vilify him so much, I used to think he was a nobody. But by the looks of that move, only I am a nobody. Enough talking. Let's fight, Naruto said as he suddenly disappeared from view. Thanks to high speed and reappeared just before the water clone. The clone barely got its sword up in time to defend itself from the inevitable slash of that sword. The atmosphere resounded with a huge clang indicating the meeting of two swords. To the credit of Zabuza, his superior strength ensured that he stayed steady. What the hell, this guy is a beast. Even though he is a swordsman, he still did not move, not even a little, Naruto thought. Zabuza, on the other hand, was wondering if he had bitten off more than he could chew. "What's your name, boy?" he asked Naruto as they began a fierce kenjutsu battle. Naruto not being able to dispel the clone because of its presence over water, which was continuously reinforcing the clone and making sure that nothing happened to it. Zabuza was really good at it, but Naruto was able to fight at Zabuza's level. He was fast gaining some respect. Sakura and Sasuke were too wide-eyed at what Naruto was doing, but somehow, they managed to cover their client. "I thought I wasn't good enough to be in your bingo book," Naruto said as he slashed again. Zabuza kicked him away, something that required excellent timing. Naruto recovered and decided to show him what the sword of his could do. "All right, Zabuza, enough. I grow weary of this. Time to end it." Naruto drew back his sword and channeled chakra through it. The sword had a green tinge surrounding it. "Butterfly. Shockwave," he said, letting out a huge slasher-shaped green bolt from the sword that was headed towards Zabuza. However, one Zabuza dodged it. The other was not too lucky. The slasher barely stopped close to the original Zabuza and dispelled. However, the energy that was in the wave knocked over Zabuza, who no longer had his hand in the prison of Kakashi. Kakashi was now thanking his stars as he stepped away, looking a bit frazzled but otherwise unharmed. He was trained to hold his breath for longer periods of time, and this was really nothing to him at all. "Thanks, Naruto. Maybe next time you could listen to what I say and do that instead," Kakashi said to Naruto. Naruto looked at him and smiled. "I don't abandon teammates, Kakashi-sensei," he said simply. At that moment, Kakashi saw his best friend Obito in Naruto, and smiled. "Okay then," Kakashi said, "Zabuza, I slipped up once, I needed that. Now you will see what it's like when I go at a full pace." "Naruto, take a step back," he said to Naruto, who groaned. "Now," Kakashi said sternly, and Naruto obeyed, shocked by the tone in his voice.
"Okay then, sensei. I leave you to him, although I would have loved to have fought this guy," Naruto said to Kakashi. His tone displayed his longing, and Kakashi was convinced that Naruto actually really wanted to fight Zabuza. Naruto was sealing his sword away as Kakashi and Zabuza looked at him, almost repulsed at the way he had effectively freed Kakashi from the confines of his prison.
That kid made it look like it was way too easy, and on top of that, he also sensed that I am not alone. I wonder what else this kid will show. Naruto played the part of unfazed ninja correctly. He did not seem to give a damn about what was happening. He ignored the shocked looks on Sakura and Sasuke's faces, and definitely did not pay attention to Kakashi or Zabuza's stare. It was like he was in the zone, and he wanted to hurt someone, that someone being Zabuza of the Mist, or formerly of the Mist. "Now this is a total drag," Naruto said, doing his best Shikamaru impression. "But Zabuza, the right thing to do in this situation would be to walk away. You have no idea what I can do." "Yes, there is more," Naruto said upon looking at Zabuza's eyes that were raised at that comment. "To run away would be extremely disgraceful for someone like me." "Naruto, was it? Tell me. Do you belong to any clan, and how the hell do you have that sword in your hands? There is no way you should be able to hold it, at least not unless you are related to Takeshi, and he bequeathed it to you," Zabuza said. Naruto laughed. The deductions were spot on, so Zabuza was also smart, along with being psychotic and extremely dangerous. "Nice going there, genius, you figured it out," Naruto said, mocking the deduction, even though it was correct. "Now I'll tell you my name, only once, and I want you to remember it, because I have a feeling that I am going into your bingo book," Naruto said, smiling. Zabuza was visibly fuming. The kid was too much of a smart ass for anyone's good. "My name," Naruto said as he formed two handsells. The atmosphere suddenly became a lot more stormy than usual. Kakashi's eyes widened at Naruto's use of a jutsu. He recognized it instantly, of course, but to use only two handsells to do it, that was insane. No one he knew apart from the Naidame was known to perform jutsu with such control that it barely required a hand seal. Wind. Release. Tornado of doom. The atmosphere around them with storm clouds suddenly cleared as a tornado of wind came descending down on Zabuza and captured him. It seemed to begin slicing him, but Zabuza was no slouch. He had managed to substitute himself out of harm's way in such a good way that he had everyone convinced that he was done for. However, Naruto noticed Zabuza escape. He also saw where he went. "Oh, not so fast," he said, but Zabuza had come out, hand seals and everything. Water style. Water Dragon Jutsu Zabuza called out, and Naruto tried dodging. Key word was that he tried? Naruto seemed stuck in position, not being able to do anything. What the fuck? I can't move. Naruto thought helplessly as a huge dragon made purely out of water, and chakra came towards him. Naruto could no longer hear the screams of Kakashi, who was too far away to try pulling Naruto out of the way, and Sakura and Sasuke, who seemed concerned now, asking him to get the hell out of the way. Zabuza himself was shocked that the brat was not moving, and just then Naruto, purely on instinct, formed a hand seal. The effect was immediate. It formed a sphere of energy around him that absorbed the water dragon that had just reached him. Just absorbed everything. Naruto could not believe his luck, however he realized what had happened. His eyes were using another technique, and he realized that they allowed him to absorb ninjutsu. That was really a fearsome technique. What the hell? Zabuza cried out in shock. He could not believe that nothing had happened to the blonde brat. He had made it unscathed. A barrier had absorbed the jutsu. What on earth was happening?
Enough, Kakashi said, seemingly fed up. No one seemed to have noticed that Kakashi was taking the advantage the moment had presented him and had formed a huge water dragon that rivaled Zabuza's and had sent it right back at him. The last thing Zabuza remembered was being knocked unconscious due to hitting a tree.
And soon enough, Kakashi had the hand seals done. His hand seemed to crackle with electricity. The target was floating in and out of consciousness. Zabuza, however, before he could do anything, a senbon struck Zabuza, who was dead. Person in a hunter nin mask was standing among the trees and charged towards Zabuza and got there in an instant. Recognition passed Naruto's face as he knew where he had seen the person before. "Stop!" he called out, rushing towards the nin, but the ninja had taken Zabuza's body and disappeared. Naruto turned around to see an angry Kakashi looking at him. "We need to talk." XL. What the hell were you thinking? Not only did you disobey me when I asked you to run, you also jumped into a battle I told you to stay away from. I thought you were smarter than that, Naruto. What the hell is wrong with you? Kakashi asked him. They were at Tazuna's house, where they were greeted by Tazuna's attractive, to Kakashi, daughter and a really moody grandson that no one seemed to know how to behave with. Inari, apparently, ever since his father's death, was really fragile. Being around him was akin to walking on eggshells, and no one wanted to deal with that kind of thing. On the other hand, Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter, was an attractive young woman who had already seen enough trouble to last a civilian a lifetime. Naruto's heart sunk when he realized that the father Inari had lost was actually Kaiza. Tazuna then told them about Kaiza's tale, and how he was publicly humiliated by Gato, and how Inari was never the same. Kakashi had put off all discussions about Naruto's actions on the battlefield for later. And now at night, when Sakura was not present, she was in the other room, and Sasuke was only pretending to be asleep. The two were talking.
Wake up, Sasuke. Don't insult me by pretending to be asleep. You need to hear this, because I doubt Sakura would do something like this. You, on the other hand, I don't trust, Kakashi said. Sasuke gulped, partly out of amazement that his acting had been caught. He needed to work on that a little bit more.
Power is supposed to be used responsibly, and what the hell were you thinking not trying to dodge the water dragon? Do you have any idea what could have happened? Do you have a clue? Kakashi asked Naruto. Naruto nodded. I was stuck, sensei, you know. These eyes. They do that whenever I discover something new happening. And did you really expect us to abandon you? He asked Kakashi, who softened upon hearing this, though he remained a bit stern, telling Sasuke and Naruto that they needed to be stronger because the next time they would face Zabuza, he would have his accomplice with him. Kakashi had then left, leaving Sasuke and Naruto in the room all alone. Sasuke was staring at Naruto, which was causing Naruto to fidget. Sasuke, Naruto said, "Are you in love with me or something? Quit staring at me like that," he said to Sasuke, who looked pissed off when Naruto raised doubts on his sexuality.
Naruto, I need a sword like yours, where do you think I can find one? He asked Naruto. Naruto raised his eyebrow.
"I thought you were going to ask me for mine or demand it," he said to Sasuke. This was exactly what Naruto felt would have happened. Sasuke, however, looked puzzled.
You know, I am proud that I am Uchiha and everything, and I do think that my clan was the best. I really don't think I should be allowed to have whatever I want, Sasuke said. We aren't that influential, no one is, he said. Naruto nodded, smiling.
Well, to tell you where to get a sword like that? Well, this one was my grandfather's. I can't tell you where I got it since I don't know, Naruto said, lying. But I can tell you that if you deserve a sword, you will get one, Naruto said to him. Sasuke looked puzzled at Naruto.
Sasuke, I know you wanna kill your brother, Naruto said, but I need you to consider the cycle of revenge. You see, revenge will only beget revenge. You won't be satisfied once you do kill him, which I know you will, Naruto said, causing Sasuke to smile at Naruto's confidence in him. I need you to know that if we remain a team, we want to be there helping you do it. There is no shame in asking for help, Naruto said. Sasuke looked at Naruto, wondering where this was all coming from.
Anyway, sweet dreams, I gotta go hit the hay, Naruto said as he jumped into his bed. Sasuke continued staring at him. This guy is weird. XL. Today we are going to learn how to climb a tree, Kakashi said to the assembled Team 7 in the forest. They had made it there after eating a breakfast and trying to ward off Kakashi from flirting with Tsunami thorough out it. Now they were in the forest, and Kakashi had asked them to be more ready to face Zabuza and his accomplice, and decided to do so by teaching them.
Tree climbing, Sakura asked Kakashi, but sensei, we already know how to climb trees, Sakura said, scratching her head in puzzlement while Sasuke, who was definitely considering this to be a total waste of his time, nodded.
He means without your hands, look, Naruto said before walking up the tree and walking right back down. Kakashi gasped, but realized that knowing Naruto, he had probably done this a long time ago. Focus chakra on your feet and try climbing the tree. It's really easy, you guys will get the hang of it in no time, Naruto said before giving Sakura and Sasuke a kunai, and telling them to mark their progress. Kakashi stared at Naruto. You know, I would appreciate it if you let me teach my students, Kakashi said, glaring at Naruto, who smirked. Oh, come on, man. I know water walking too, so why don't you sit down and read your orange book? I'll take a walk, he said to Kakashi, who smirked, realizing that this was a rare opportunity to catch up on his reading on the mission. He sighed contently as he pulled out his book and began reading it, happy that Naruto had given him the chance to do that.
Naruto, on the other hand, had taken a walk and come rather far away. He was almost considering going back to his native village and checking it out one more time, but realized that that would take some time. He decided that he would do pretty much nothing and just lounge about and consider this to be his free day. He sat down cross-legged and began wondering about the abilities of his eyes so far. He had control over gravity, he could summon animals, he could bring people back to life and interrogate them, and he could absorb ninjutsu. He wondered what else these eyes could let him do. Naruto found it scary but realized that he had a lot to live up to and an unknown enemy to face. His father had said that Naruto would find out in due time when his mother would meet him, but when would she meet him? It was all really unclear at this point. Kit, maybe you should consider training in that demonic chakra now. I mean, as far as I know, you can go to about 3 tails before giving in. We need more than that, Kurama said to him.
Naruto nodded. You are right, time to get started on that, he said. He got up and was getting ready to train when he saw a beautiful-looking girl walk into the clearing he was in. She looked at him and smiled.
Naruto began sweating. Holy shit, she is better than all girls in the academy. It's scary what Ino or Sakura would do to me if they found out that I had seen a woman who I thought was prettier than them. He shuddered. He could hear the fox inside him laughing. Just then recognition struck. The girl in front of him felt familiar, and he knew just who it was.
Hello? The girl said to him. Naruto smiled and helloed right back. Are you new here? I haven't seen you in the wave, she said to him. Naruto did not say anything but looked at her. Oh, but you have. Didn't you manage to dispel my shadow clone with an ice senbon? Naruto asked her, and the girl in front of him stiffened. Easy? Naruto said. You won't defeat me so easily, you know. Plus, I don't want to take you with me. Actually, I do. But not in the way you think I do, Naruto said to her. The girl raised her eyebrow. Tell your master that I want to cut a deal. Naruto said to her. The girl looked at him puzzled. XL. Somewhere in Amakagura. A man in an orange mask with swirls on him was on one of the tallest buildings in the village, staring impassively at the surroundings. The man was absolutely still, not moving even a little bit, just staring into the sunset. Just then, from the ground beside him rose a creature that was half black and half white, with a Venus flytrap-shaped thing on his head. Toby, the man said to him. The orange-masked person turned and nodded his head. What have you found, Zetsu? Toby asked the flytrap. All of them are alive. One is in Konoha, one is in Suna, one is in Taki, 2 are in Kumo. One of them is Yagura, of course, the Mizukage himself. The rest are all exiled and locations vary, but they are easily traceable. Zetsu said. Toby nodded upon hearing this. This was good news. What about members? I did my job. I have Nagato and his girlfriend working for me. They were hard to convince. But I did it, he said to Zetsu. I have 2 more potential members, Yagura himself and Itachi Uchiha, who I helped with killing off his entire clan. Yagura would do something like that willingly. And what about Sasuke? I thought the plan was for him to destroy Konoha. Zetsu said to Toby, who nodded. It still is. But when you plan for that long, things go all south sometimes, and we need to take some precautions. Itachi needs to join us, and I know that he is working as a spy, but he will be dead long before he can actually do something to hinder our goals. Why do you think I am moving so late? Toby asked Zetsu, who began laughing. Conniving, Toby. That is just like you, Zetsu said, grinning. Let's hope that our old friend Orochimaru does exactly what we think he is going to do. Toby continued. Zetsu stared at him without saying much until Toby spoke again. I meant, he has to move after Sasuke and bite him. We have to make sure that he does that. And if he doesn't, we need to make sure that there is backup, he said to Zetsu, who nodded. I will go and try finding Sasori and Kakuzu. They might be interested in this organization after all, Zetsu said, and dissolved upon seeing the masked man nod. Toby stared at the moon that had just begun its rise. Chapter 8. You want to cut a deal? Haku asked Naruto, incredulous that the blonde ninja would even suggest something like that to her. She and her master Zabuza had no reason whatsoever to accept whatever Naruto had to say to them. Naruto merely nodded, ignoring the disbelief in Haku's voice. It seemed like he was pretty desperate. I know about your defection. I know about your bloodline purges in Kiri, and I know about your clan, the Yuki clan, well known for their ice release techniques. Naruto said, I think we can help each other here. Plus I know about people like Gato, and I know that he is just wanting to screw you over when there is nothing you can do about it. So how about it? Will you shake my hand? Naruto said before extending his right hand towards Haku, who looked at it like it was an animal in the zoo. No, I cannot trust you, she said simply. Naruto smiled, shaking his head. I knew it wouldn't be so easy, but I can be very persuasive. Naruto said, smiling, and was puzzled when he saw Haku blushing. What the hell? Why is she blushing? Naruto thought to himself, his puzzlement increasing with every passing second. Haku recovered quickly, though. What do you mean by that? Haku asked Naruto, who looked at her like she was not from this planet. Well, maybe I should tell you what I can do, but you already know, the way I thrashed your master around like he was a nobody. Naruto said, sounding more smug than he had hoped to come off while saying that. Plus, you know I can kill you right now and then. Who will go and wake up Master Zabuza? Eh? I am sure Gato will pay no attention before finishing you off and get his job done for free. Do you know how much you guys charge him? Naruto asked her, her eyes widened. Both of them knew that she was in no condition to take him on right now. She did not have her senbon, and she did not want to show off her bloodline. But maybe she would have to bring it out right about now. Now Konoha is the place both of you want to go to. They respect bloodlines, unlike your Mizukage, and you will be welcomed with open arms, you know. Zabuza can finally have a place to call home, and you can be with him, he said. Can you prove that Gato will kill us? Haku asked Naruto. I mean, you could be lying for all I know, and I don't want to be the one to lead my master to his death, thanks to you and your treacherous ways, she said. Upon hearing this, Naruto began laughing loudly, like a crazy person, and Haku began staring at him, almost scared. Fine, Naruto said, pausing. See for yourself, Gato is not too far away, and maybe, just maybe he can be scheming against you guys, you know. I know where he is right now, Naruto said casually. Haku looked at him, curious as to how he found out where the shipping magnate was. Naruto just shrugged when she asked him. Haku decided that following him was worth a shot. Naruto was smirking. He had gotten extremely lucky. Flashback. It was 3 hours before Naruto had met with Haku, and Kakashi and Naruto were having a conversation about her, although they did not know who it was till then.
I have my shadow clones, you know. They are combing the whole goddamn place. They will find the accomplice and then tail him. And I will try talking to him, because I know that they have good intentions. I know Gato is going to double-cross them. I will prove it to them and all the fighting will be avoided, Naruto said to Kakashi, who was doubtful whether Zabuza and his apprentice would switch allegiance and come without a fight.
Kakashi had asked Naruto if establishing a friendship was what they should do in a situation like this. And Naruto agreed. He said that peace was all that mattered, and Naruto needed friends so that he could hope to someday establish that peace. Kakashi sighed and reluctantly agreed. Meanwhile, some of Naruto's clones had discovered Gato, and one of them had dispelled, thus alerting Naruto to his whereabouts. A local gambling place that Gato and his cronies had established from the money they had taken from the wave. However, they had not found Haku. She was hidden. Naruto had found her by pure luck. End. Flashback. It was a really murky place, and the whole air smelled of alcohol. Haku frowned as her nose crinkled in disgust. Naruto, on the other hand, found the smell of sake really appealing. Maybe he would try it someday. Of course, there was no time for this. Both of them were disguised as two of the bandits, who Naruto had knocked out at the entrance and disposed of. The plan was for Naruto to approach as a ninja, who was after Zabuza, and Haku, who would be hidden, would be listening in.
However, they found out that Gato had just left. Naruto groaned, pissed off that his plans were going awry. However, he was lucky, as usual, when he found out that they were not that far off. Naruto and Haku both took off, hopping trees until they found Gato and his men in a clearing close by. They had taken a shortcut through the forest, and Naruto looked at what the men were doing. His face paled as he saw all of them surrounding a woman, who was half naked. It was obvious what was happening.
Naruto decided that the man who was humiliating her at the moment should not be spared. He decided that it was time to make his entrance. He looked at Haku and instructed her to remain silent. His belief in Haku's goodness was reinforced when he saw that she looked mortified at what was happening.
Naruto transformed into a normal-looking person with black hair and had an intimidating air about him. Haku was awed at the fact that Naruto had transformed the aura around him, and she presumed that it was one of his abilities. Naruto looked at Haku and raised his eyebrows. Haku nodded. Assuaged, Naruto decided to begin moving, and using his superior speed vanished.
He reappeared behind the man who was trying to rape the woman and slashed his throat. Before anything could happen, the man was dead, and Naruto had his knife around Gato's throat. The man was really a midget and was already whimpering, thus showing everyone just how powerful the person was. "Who are you?" Gato asked him. He was ready to piss his pants. Naruto smirked, leaking some more killing intent. Gato and his 5 men were all stiffening, unable to move due to the intent in the air.
Does not matter, Naruto said to Gato, almost a whisper. He then looked at the woman, who was crying, her tears hitting the ground. Go, he said to her. The woman obeyed and got away. None of the bandits could say anything. Naruto paused and waited for her to be out of their sights. "I hate rapists," he said when he saw Gato looking at the dead body of the henchman.
Gato paled. He was worried that it would happen to him as well, and he did not like that at all. "What do you want?" Gato asked him, fear in his voice. Naruto smiled. He hoped that this would work.
I heard that you employed Zabuza Momochi. Now I do not like Zabuza Momochi very much, and I do not like the people who hire him too. So tell me, give me a reason as to why I do not kill you and your stupid little cronies where you stand, he said, leaking some more killing intent.
Gato was not stammering. It's not like that. Whoever you are, I plan to dispose of him once my job is done. As a matter of fact, if you want I can tell you where he is. Right now I hired him and his lodgings are in my place. I will tell you, kill him. I will give you lots of money as well. I was going to kill him. Honest, he said to Naruto, begging for his life. Okay, Naruto said, I believe you. You seem to be telling the truth. Zabuza should be dead in a fortnight. Because if he isn't, Naruto said before vanishing and reappearing behind another henchman who hit the floor. Dead. That's going to be you. Now get lost, he said to Gato, who looked happy to be out of there. Naruto waited till the magnate and his 3 henchmen were out of their sights. That's when Haku descended from the tree she was hiding in it. Happy? He asked Haku, who looked nothing but... She was looking at the dead bodies, obviously not very happy with what was going on.
Did they have to die? Did you have to kill them? Haku asked Naruto. It was clear that she did not enjoy killing at all. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. I have killed before, plus are you telling me they did not deserve it? He asked Haku. These scumbags will always disrupt peace, plus that woman was precious to someone, I couldn't let her be insulted like that, they deserve to die, he said, before spitting at the body of one of the bandits.
Now listen to me, Haku, I am strong. You can see that I can kill you effortlessly. However, convince your master. Tell him that he can join us in Konoha, where he will be happy, and you will not be hunted down. Can you do that? He asked her. Haku nodded.
Good, Naruto said to her. Now you should be on your way. Go heal Zabuza, and meet me in the same place tomorrow, all right? He asked Haku, who nodded.
Why help us? Haku asked Naruto before he could shun away. Naruto looked at her and shrugged. I know you. I could sense the goodness about you. Even Zabuza was not very fond of killing us. You were on a job. And I know the person who hired you was despicable. I knew you would be double-crossed. No wonder I had my clones track you. Although they could not locate you, I guess it's a good thing that we ran into each other. I said to her. Plus, there are some other selfish reasons, he said before bringing both his hands together and focusing chakra. Haku's wide eyes went wider when she saw what Naruto was actually doing. He had formed a block of ice. Haku stumbled as she took a step back. Was Naruto a relative? Bye, Naruto said to her before shunning away. XL. It worked, Naruto said to Kakashi. It had been 2 days since Naruto had convinced Haku, and she had taken Naruto to their hideout where he had met with Zabuza. His conversation with Zabuza had gone the same way as it had with Haku. Zabuza was angered that Gato would dishonor their pact in such a manner, and agreed. They decided to finish Gato for once and for all, and Zabuza decided that at least for a while, he would come to Konoha, despite what it looked.
Kakashi smiled. Naruto's charisma had come from his father. Both of them had an air about them that made you think that they knew what they were doing, even though they probably didn't. To convince Gato we will fight. Zabuza wanted to try defeating me again. It will be a harmless spar. He will take on you first, while Haku wants to see if my ice bloodline is as good as hers, and she wants to see what I can do with it. Keep Sasuke and Sakura in the dark. We might be able to hide our Abelites, however Sakura and Sasuke might give it away, and while I hate lying to them, it has to be done to them, he said to Kakashi, who nodded.
Fine, I will train them. You want to help out? He asked Naruto, who nodded. Yeah, Sakura can use some basic genjutsu, I guess. Maybe you should have Kurenai teach her when we do get back from this mission. You can train Sasuke in some fire jutsu before he unlocks the Sharingan, he said to Kakashi, who nodded. An hour later, they found themselves in the clearing. Naruto had been instructing Sakura in doing some basic genjutsu. Today he was teach her flower petal escape technique, which could help hide Tazuna and herself if she was threatened, much to Naruto's delight. Sakura's perfect chakra control had caused her to get a hang of that technique relatively easily. Sasuke was being taught the exploding flame shots by Kakashi. Sasuke had an affinity for fire and lightning. Every Uchiha had fire release while Sasuke also had lightning. However, Kakashi was not teaching Sasuke the Chidori yet. He wanted to wait for a while, so they had to settle for this technique. Naruto smiled. Their training was coming along nicely. They would be able to put up a nice fight and impress Zabuza. He couldn't, however, wait to see the look on Gato's face when he would realize that he was played.
Itachi Uchiha sighed as he stared at the plate of dango that he was eating. He did not want to eat much these days. His job as a spy had led him away from the one person that he loved more than anybody else in the world, his own brother.
He was in the land of fruits, far, far away from Konoha, and he could not help but think of the orange-masked person who claimed he was Madara Uchiha. Itachi could not believe that the man, who was literally a god among men, was still alive. At least that was what it seemed to be. Madara, or whoever the man was, seemed to suspect that Itachi would work as a spy for the Hokage, and Itachi was worried. He had planned to start a new organization, and Itachi could possibly be recruited. However, he stopped when he began sensing a really sinister chakra nature in the air. He knew who it belonged to. Orochimaru, he said, and the snake Nin came out from the clearing. Itachi rose. What do you want? He asked Orochimaru, who laughed. Your eyes. XL. Naruto sighed. Today was the day they would battle at the bridge. It was the day of their battle, at least mock battle, against Zabuza and Haku. They were supposed to do it till Gato would show up and try killing them. That's when they would strike. According to Zabuza, Gato had been pushing Zabuza to get rid of the ninja brats. Naruto had to keep up his appearance and had once again threatened Gato in his transformed and intimidating form for the sake of keeping up appearances. They had to make it to the bridge soon, and Naruto was feeling uneasy. He had left 2 clones back home to guard Tsunami and Inari, while he had made his way to the bridge. He was worried about the encounter he had had with Inari just the other day. Flashback. Naruto and Sasuke had just returned from training with each other and were absolutely famished, literally gulping down everything that Tsunami had put in front of them for dinner, not caring about getting suffocated or otherwise. Inari watched all this with a look of disdain that went unnoticed by everyone. In short, the mood in the house was upbeat. Don't worry, Kazuna-san Sakura said to the bridge builder, who was drunk again. Naruto and Sasuke and I have been training really hard, and we will surely defeat Zabuza this time, she said confidently, while Naruto and Sasuke nodded, their mouths still full with the food they had just swallowed in a gulp. Kakashi and Sakura sighed at the display. Naruto and Sasuke had established a somewhat uncomfortable friendship over the past few days, and both of them were similar to each other in more ways than one.
The happiness was shattered when Inari banged his hands on the table and looked at them, puzzling everyone as to why he had done that. Inari just glared at both Naruto and Sasuke.
It's hopeless. You cannot defeat Gato, he said to both of them. Why even try? He is stronger than all of us and your enthusiasm is going to be your downfall, he said. Sasuke and Naruto gulped down all the food they had in their mouths. Sasuke looked pissed that an 8-year-old kid was calling him weak, while Naruto made his feelings well known. Wow, you seem really confident. It's too bad that with an attitude like that you will never achieve anything in life, Naruto said to him. Sakura gasped. To her it seemed like Naruto had been too harsh with that statement while Sasuke merely smirked. He knew what Naruto was talking about. With hard work, one can achieve anything. Of course I would not expect you to understand that. You only seem to run away, you are always sad. I mean, what the hell would you know? Naruto asked Inari, who began shaking with either tears or anger, but as it turned out, it was both. My father was a fool, died trying to play the hero, and you are a fool too. Even you try being a hero. And guess what? There are no heroes, there will never be any heroes or any heroic acts. It's all a shade of gray, Inari screamed. I have had a tough life, he finished. Naruto was about to open his mouth when he heard Sasuke, of all people in the world. Speak up, and speak up he did. A tough life, Sasuke screamed at him. My brother, the person I loved the most, murdered my entire family and made me relive it several times, over and over again, and told me he did it to test his powers. He ruined my life, completely shattered all hopes I had of having a normal life, and Naruto here has been attacked and hated by the village. He lives in for reasons that no one knows, yet he smiles and goes on with his life. So don't give me that bullshit about having lead a tough life, Sasuke said to him before resuming his silence. Disgraceful, you are nothing like your father Inari. Matter of fact, if I was your dad, I would be ashamed of you right now, he said to Inari, who teared up and left in a hurry. End flashback.
Naruto shrugged off the encounter he had had with Inari and concentrated on what was happening in front of him right now. They were at the bridge and Zabuza and Haku had made their presence known from the mist that was enveloping the whole bridge, completely surrounding the whole area, making it impossible for them to see anything whatsoever.
Stronger than ever, eh? Naruto asked Zabuza, who snorted. Haku was looking forward to fighting you, brat. You have no chance. Although I would like to know how you came to possess the ice bloodline, he said to Naruto. Surprise, Naruto said to him, which caused Zabuza to snort. You seemed a cocky kid, now go and fight her, he said to Naruto, who nodded and vanished. Haku was meanwhile talking to Sasuke. You might be extremely cute, but that does not mean that I will go easy on you, because I like being on top of everything, and I shall come out on top in our encounter too, she said to Sasuke, who was blushing.
Naruto, who had just appeared from nowhere, saw Sasuke looking positively red-faced. He had to focus a lot of chakra into his eyes to see that clearly, and he was now feeling glad that he had taken that pain, because this was extremely rare. Sasuke, the emo king, was blushing.
Who the hell is this girl, and why is she so pretty? Sasuke thought to himself before stopping, and his face turning pale. Wait, I am not supposed to feel that way, he said loud enough for Naruto and Haku to hear him. Naruto just looked at Sasuke as though he was from another planet. What the hell, Sasuke? He asked Naruto. Haku is flirting with Sasuke. Actually, I think their pairing will be awesome, he thought to himself.
Enough talk, now we fight, Haku said as she launched a Senbon. Naruto moved away and so did Sasuke, whose eyes were now red-colored with two tomo in them.
So you activated the Sharingan? Naruto asked Sasuke. When? Yesterday night after my outburst, Sasuke said, grinning. I feel great. Let's see how good these eyes are, shall we? He asked Naruto, who nodded. Haku suddenly appeared behind Sasuke and kicked him. However, Sasuke barely got a hand to it in time, his Sharingan saving him from near disaster, while Naruto grinned appreciatively. You are fast, he said to Haku, who smiled, although Naruto could not see it. She then charged Naruto, who sidestepped her and made it look like he was sleeping. At least it looked that way with the ease that he was moving with. He struck out a palm at Haku, who dodged it effortlessly too.
Not bad, he said to Haku. Let's see what you do about this, he said as he stepped back and formed some hand seals, before wordlessly sending out balls of ice at Haku, who barely dodged them.
Nice, she said. You have decent control over the ice, but let's see you dodge this, she said as she formed some hand seals. Ice. Style. Ice disc technique, she called out, as there was a whizzing sound in the air. However, Naruto could not see anything, and he activated his eyes, focusing some more chakra towards his eyes, when he saw almost transparent, sharp ice discs coming towards him. Sasuke, whose Sharingan had seen it all, managed to pull Naruto out of the way. Dobe, what the hell are you doing, man? Do I have to pull you out of everything like that? He asked Naruto, who sighed in relief. He had taken this too lightly. The mist had forced him to activate his Rinnegan.
Listen, Haku, I don't care how beautiful you are, I will get you. Fear my wrath, Sasuke said as Naruto looked at him, wondering if he was showboating right now.
Fire. Style. Phoenix Flower Jutsu, he said, shooting out balls of fire towards Haku, who dodged all of them. Haku substituted herself with a block of ice, which made Sasuke groan.
Meanwhile, Kakashi and Zabuza were involved in a fierce battle, or spark. Zabuza had to admit that Kakashi was a really talented shinobi, who was holding his own against Zabuza.
You're good. Maybe your students are as good as you are, he asked Kakashi. Don't underestimate them, that might just be the last thing you do, he said to Zabuza, who laughed. The blondie is fearsome, I will admit, but I don't think he is too experienced. He is a little too naive for my tastes, Zabuza said as his cleaver clashed with Kakashi, who turned out to be a shadow clone. Are you taking advantage of his naivety? Kakashi asked Zabuza. He had just materialized behind him and had a kunai to Zabuza's throat. He wasn't slashing. He was not supposed to. Nah, Zabuza said before dissolving into water. It was a water loan, and Kakashi sighed, berating himself for thinking that he had won already. However, he dodged in time, avoiding a giant sword slashing. He began sweating. Zabuza was really good. So why join us? Kakashi asked Zabuza, who sort of shrugged. Both of them were standing at a distance. Look, I love Haku, okay? Like a daughter. I took her in and raised her to be a tool, but I realized that she'd won me over. She changed my heart, and I am tired of putting her in danger like this. I know that she will be safe there. I am doing this for her. I want her to have a great life, Zabuza said as Kakashi looked on, shocked at what Zabuza had just said. Plus, she thinks that the black-haired kid is cute, he said to Kakashi, whose sweat dropped. She should join the club, Kakashi thought. Enough of this sappy bullshit. Let's fight now, Zabuza said as he charged Kakashi again. XL. Half an hour later. All right, Haku, it's time, Naruto said. They were trapped in Haku's demonic ice mirrors, and Naruto was sorely tempted to use the Preta path and absorb the ice needles. But he didn't want to walk. Sasuke was looking a little worse for wear.
Sasuke, Inari seems to have got our message. He is gathering the villagers. Gato is on his way now, he said to Sasuke, who looked puzzled. He suddenly noticed that the mirrors around him had melted away and Naruto had a hand on Sasuke's shoulder.
Relax, I'll tell you about it. Focus. She's on our side, he said to her. Zabuza and Kakashi had both made their way towards where they all were.
Alright, Zabuza, you lost the spar, so you can act like you are injured, he said to Zabuza, who snorted, obviously not happy with the whole arrangement.
Sasuke, act like you are seriously hurt, Naruto said to Sasuke, who looked at him puzzled. Why? He asked Naruto, who shrugged. Sasuke shook his head.
No way, I am not acting injured, you act injured, or tell Haku, he said to Naruto. Meanwhile Sakura, who was hidden all the time by a genjutsu along with Tazuna, had just shown up, puzzled beyond belief.
Hey, what's going on here? Why are we all standing? She asked them. Tazuna looked curious too. Has the battle stopped? Sensei, why are we with the enemies right now? She asked him. Kakashi shrugged. Tell Sakura to act hurt. It's the most believable outcome, Sasuke said to Naruto, who glared at him. But Haku solved the problem by kicking him in the groin. Really hard. Sasuke cried out in pain as he doubled over, clutching his stomach. Why? He wheezed out. That was for being a jerk, Haku said to Sasuke. Sakura was seething at what Haku had just done. Meanwhile, Zabuza had also lied down on the ground, waiting for Gato to show up. And sure enough, he did. Demon of the Hidden Mist. You don't seem too special, Zabuza. I mean, you were defeated by kids, Gap said. He had shown up with 50 mercenaries. Gato then set his sights on Haku. Ah, the hot bitch that you carry with you, eh? You know I want her, he said, looking at Haku, who was kneeling down on the ground beside Zabuza, acting like she was healing his wounds and looking really injured. You were right, Zabuza said to Naruto, who nodded. Gato, on the other hand, ignored the whole exchange. He went on with his tirade. Maybe she will make a great whore. Oh wait, I will rape her and kill her. And Tazuna, your daughter will be a whore for sure, Gato said before giggling. Naruto began shaking with anticipation. Gato was gonna be screwed. Sasuke, on the other hand, was looking really pissed off right about now. Shut the hell up, you fuzzbag, he shouted, albeit too dramatically. Naruto groaned. Sasuke wouldn't make a great actor. As if a kid can tell me what to do, he said to Sasuke. You like the whore. Well, maybe I'll do it in front of you, he said, laughing as his mercenaries laughed along with him.
I would like to see you try, Zabuza said as he got up, giving up the act, looking as fresh as ever. Haku got up too, and Naruto from 50 shadow clones.
Gato paled. The look in his eyes was similar to what many people look like when they see their deaths approaching. It was all an act, Zabuza said as he charged towards Gato, who was paralyzed with fear. 5 bloody minutes later, it was all over. XL. Inari and the villagers had shown up later. Inari had managed to gather the support of all the villagers, and this had gained looks of appreciation from Naruto and of all people Sasuke. Naruto also found out that Zabuza had no intention of joining Konoha. Why stay a missing nin? Come on. You said Haku was your daughter. Don't you want to be with her? Naruto asked him. Zabuza sighed.
I would love to, Naruto, but I have a job to do. I have to gather support for the rebellion. Please, take Haku with you and take care of her, he said to Kakashi, who nodded.
Zabuza-sama, please. I shall come with you, Haku, said to Zabuza, who refused.
Haku, I order you to go to Konoha and lead a good life. Just tell the Hokage that I might visit and that I won't kill any Konoha ninja if I find them, he said to her. She nodded.
I'll miss you, she said to him, tearing up. Naruto was pretty sure that Zabuza was also about to cry. I don't deserve you, Haku, Zabuza said to her as he smiled. Well, I'll be on my way. Take care, and once the rebellion is successful, I will visit you, he said to her. Haku nodded. Zabuza then shined away as Haku broke down in tears.
The next week was spent completing the bridge. The villagers, bolstered by Inari and Tazuna, had began working hard at completing the bridge. Haku and Sasuke spent that time together. Much to Sakura's chagrin, she couldn't believe that Sasuke liked Haku, while Naruto could not believe that Sasuke liked girls.
Can you believe them? Sakura asked Naruto. I worked so hard to impress him, and he starts liking Haku of all people, she said to Naruto, who nodded. Yeah, I know, right? I thought he had a thing for Kiba, he said as Sakura realized what that meant, and she was not happy. Don't insult Sasuke-kun, she said to Naruto as she tried beating him up. XL. Hiruzen Sarutobi sighed. It was another day at the village, another one filled with paperwork, and he hated to say it, but he missed Naruto. The boisterous blonde had made things entertaining. But now, there was none of that. However, things were getting more interesting. He sensed someone was in the room, and it was not Ambu. Itachi-kun, Sarutobi said. How nice of you to show up, he said as Itachi emerged from the shadows. I knocked out Kotetsu and Izumo. I hope you don't mind, he said to Sarutobi. Your Ambu are knocked out too, he said as he took a seat. That scares me, Sarutobi replied. So, I thought you wouldn't show up in the village for a long time. So what happened? Orochimaru is coming after my brother. His sights are on the Sharingan, and he wants to invade Konoha, Itachi, said as Sarutobi paled. This was not good news at all. He came after my eyes, but I managed to escape. Don't ask me how. I am sure he will go after Sasuke next, he said to Sarutobi. XL. This is bad, Tobizetsu said to the orange-masked person. Orochimaru moved after Itachi and gave away his plan. And now Itachi could be in Konoha. This is not good, Tobi said to himself. Look, for someone else then, Itachi is a lost cause. Zetsu nodded as he dissolved in the ground.
The rest of their stay at Wave was relatively tame compared to the first few weeks. Haku had decided to come along with them to Konoha, and Zabuza had left in hopes of leading a successful reunion against the bloodline purges. Sasuke and Haku, much to the chagrin of Sakura, had hit it off, while Naruto, who was loveless, was working on the bridge. His clones had devoted themselves to getting the work done, and he was also working his summon creatures and using them as load bearers and whatnot. Kakashi just relaxed and read his dirty smut and tried flirting with Tsunami while all this was happening.
Naruto, Sasuke, and Inari had also become quite close to each other all the while, as they just hung out and trained, At least Naruto and Sasuke did, while Inari just watched them do it. After 2 weeks, the bridge was finally finished, and it was time to name the bridge, and the whole village was gathered to see off the shinobi who had saved their land from tyranny and freed them. This bridge is spectacular, but what will we call it? Tazuna asked the whole village as the shinobi were leaving.
Hey, it's all thanks to Konoha that we escaped this predicament we were in. Maybe we should call it the Great Konoha Bridge. Inari asked Tazuna. He was met with the approval of the citizens of the village and Tazuna smiled.
You are right. It is decided then. This is the Great Konoha Bridge, he said as the denizens cheered while Team 7 looked on awkwardly. Haku was just smiling. As they were on the way back to the village, Kakashi sighed. They should have called it the Great Kakashi Bridge, or the Great Icha Bridge, he said, sighing again. Everybody shook their heads and stared at Kakashi while Haku merely smiled. XL. Stop smiling. You talking to me? This was probably what Sasuke and Haku said together the whole time on the way back. Haku had a smile on her face, and Sasuke was determined to make her stop that smiling, while Haku was unfazed and continued doing so uninhibited. Naruto and Kakashi observed this with amused looks on their faces while Sakura just did not look happy. They were walking ahead of a bickering Sasuke and Haku. What does he see in her? Sakura asked Naruto. There was a look of hurt in her eyes, and Naruto felt bad seeing her. He knew why they attracted each other, or at least why Haku attracted Sasuke, but he did not have the heart to tell her. I don't know, he lied. Hopefully she would buy it and be on her way. But she didn't.
Don't lie, I'm sure you found out. You are intelligent, plus the last 2 weeks you were exclusively with Sasuke. He could have told you, so tell me why he likes her. She asked him, a look of pleading in her eyes.
He likes her cause she is strong, Naruto said as Sakura's eyes widened. But you beat her. How can she be so strong? She asked him. Naruto laughed, enough to not draw attention to the rest of the team behind them. Cute, but I did not defeat her. We were at a stalemate when Gato showed up. Anyway, I wanted to hold back and see the powers of her ice manipulation, Naruto said, defending himself. Missing the point, Sakura said to him as Naruto shrugged. I know why he doesn't like me, 'cause I am a weakling, Sakura said bitterly as Naruto walked on. This caused him to stop and turn back. Don't ever say that to anyone. Just train, and train, till you realize that you are strong. And then after that is done, train again and get stronger, he said to her.
Kakashi, who had overheard this conversation, smiled. It reached his eyes. He loved it when his team came together like that. It made him feel like a father. You are right, Sakura said as Kakashi stopped smiling and listened in on the conversation. It's nothing bad. I will train and become as strong as Sasuke and stronger than Haku. Then he will choose me, she said to Naruto, who smiled. Or you could grow a pair of breasts that rival Tsunade's and shove them in his face, Naruto thought, smiling and turning a slight red. 2 words, clan effing restoration, Kakashi thought with a giggle. That's the spirit, Naruto said to Sakura, ignoring the fact that the giggling that Kakashi had been mentally doing had become far more vocal. Actually, everyone could hear it. Sensei, why the hell are you giggling? Naruto asked Kakashi, raising his eyebrows, which silenced him instantly. Never mind, Kakashi said sheepishly, and perhaps far too quickly for anyone's liking. We are close to the village, Sasuke said suspiciously, not knowing that every single item of conversation between the rest of his team was actually revolving around him. Every member of the team shook their head at Sasuke's obvious and justified cluelessness. XL. They eventually made their way back to the village and were given a day off. However, Kakashi and Naruto had taken Haku along with them to the Hokage's office to see if they could find a place for her in the village as one of the Ambu or something. They found the man in his office, almost sprawled over his desk, reading what was an orange-covered book and having a red tinge on his face, all the while saying something along the lines of, "You really are my student," when Naruto and Kakashi walked in. Naruto blanched when he saw the old man indulging in porn.
Haku remained expressionless, although if you would ask her, it was incredibly hard to do so. Reading porn, old man? Naruto asked him incredulously, getting angrier when the cage chuckled. Spare me, Naruto. I am a tired old man. I have to have something to relieve the strain that is paperwork, he said defensively. His eyes then fell on the pretty girl, who was standing behind Kakashi and Naruto. Feeling a bit shy, she could sense the great power that this person held inside him, and was in awe of it. I see you brought the cage, said, pausing, thinking that perhaps using spoils of war as an adjective would probably not be the right thing to do. Guessed, he finished, thinking that it would be appropriate for him to say so. Naruto and Kakashi both nodded as they moved aside and let the old man properly see Haku. Haku Momochi, the girl said, despite feeling shy under the presence of a man stronger than her own master. The said old man just raised his eyebrows. Any relations to a demon of the hidden mist, perhaps? The man asked her, and she nodded. He's my father figure. I am originally from the Yuki clan, which was wiped out. However, he adopted me and raised and trained me, she said. Perhaps, Kakashi said, stepping up. You will understand better if you listen to the mission report, Hokage-sama. Kakashi asked the man, who nodded before indicating all the three people to take a seat. The next 2 hours were spent making a mission report to the old man. XL. Sasuke was staring at the family photograph. This was obviously the happier times. Even his almost always stoic father was smiling. And a genuine smile. Itachi had his hands on Sasuke's hair in the photo, and he, in the picture, was not impressed. As far as he knew, his brother was his favorite person in the world, till he had gone the mass murderer route and killed everyone that mattered, and then stuck around to torture him. Why, he mused. Not much of a question. He had been asking himself a lot of this, even more ever since he had been placed in a team with people like Sakura and Naruto. He had not cared much about them. Sakura was, as far he was concerned, a stupid and incompetent fangirl before she had graduated. But she had begun taking all this seriously and had been accentuating the plus points she had, and eliminating the negatives. His other teammate was a total enigma to him. Naruto was kind of what he could call a close friend, and much to his surprise, probably one of his closest, like it or not, he was the rival, and it was he that Sasuke had to aspire to match up to. Not his brother. The more his brother's advice of embracing the hatred in him floated around in his head, the more he considered just not doing that. He had no intention of listening to Itachi anymore.
He killed my whole family, and I still want to do what he wants, and what does Naruto always say about revenge? He thought, almost furious with himself. The whole idea, and the way he had decided to live his life was swiftly crashing around him, and now he wasn't so sure about it. He wasn't sure if he could take the heat, wasn't sure if he would ever hate enough, because the way it was right now, his life was better off with love in it.
Sasuke, a soft voice. He recognized it as Sakura's called out to him, and Sasuke smiled. He was almost expecting her to turn up and ask him out on another date. The melancholy of the whole damn situation needed to be broken. Hey, Sakura, Sasuke said before turning around and looking at her. She was pretty, with that pink hair that stood out and that awfully large forehead. Sasuke smiled. Maybe if she hadn't pushed him away by being so useless during the academy, no matter how talented she was now, Sasuke would have been in love with her, but as things stood, the only girl that held his attention was Haku, and no one else. Do I have to ask you why you're here, or are you gonna tell me? Sasuke asked her, trying to sound as polite as that statement could have sounded. Sakura seemed to realize that Sasuke had meant to be polite. She came and sat down next to him. Your compound is huge, she said simply, causing Sasuke to grin. It was huge, and he lived alone. That was not funny, but the topic being brought up was... It is, isn't it? He asked Sakura. There were a lot of us, until he said before showing her the picture of Itachi. Sakura understood as she bowed her head down. Is revenge that important to you? Sakura asked him, and he sighed. It was another whole minute before he answered that question. I'm not so sure anymore, Sasuke said. The vague answer was not going to please her, and he knew it. And he was right. She did not look too satisfied at the answer given to her question. So, you like Haku? She asked him, and Sasuke realized what this was. He nodded and he saw her face fall. In that moment, he felt like a total idiot for saying it. Maybe he should have been more diplomatic. Sakura, try to understand me. You are very pretty and talented. But it's not me you like, he said to her simply, hoping that it could make things better. What could you mean by that? How dare you say that? Sakura asked him, agitation clear in her voice. I was something you looked up to, talented, good-looking, and having a rich heritage. And you know what? Maybe I was Sasuke said. But let's say that we get into a relationship, and you realize that you were not really in love with me. Just the idea of me. How bad would that be? He asked her. Sakura looked like she did not understand. Sakura, I like Haku, but you are still the closest female in my life. You are kind of like a sister to me. And I know that it must be weird, he said as he noticed Sakura blanch. But someday you will realize that you did not love me after all, that I was a crush. And that is all. And trust me, it's better if we stay friends when that happens, he finished. Sakura though on it before rising and walking away. Maybe you are right, but you know what? I still will grow stronger. Stronger than Haku, she said as she faded away, like some kind of illusion. Sasuke sighed as he resumed pondering over the photograph in his hand. XL. Are the preparations done? The older Sarutobi asked his only student that seemed to remain loyal to the village. The said student was standing and scribbling in his book as he faced the window and the gorgeous view that it presented. Yes, even the cloud is coming this time, which is unheard of. This time will be tough for everyone, I think, Jiraiya said to Sarutobi, who nodded in agreement. How is Naruto doing? Jiraiya asked, turning his attention to his student, and Sarutobi smiled. Naruto is really talented. He has changed both Sasuke and Sakura. And for the better too, he said as Jiraiya scoffed. That brat always did have the talent of changing people. He is like his father in that respect, he said to Sarutobi, who nodded. Jiraiya, I'm going to retire after these exams, Sarutobi said to him, and Jiraiya almost fell out the window. What? He asked Sarutobi in shock. Sarutobi smiled fondly at the reaction his student displayed. I would pick Kakashi as my successor, but I have a feeling he will refuse, and you will too. Or will you take it? He asked Jiraiya, hoping that he would say yes. Jiraiya shook his head in negative. Sorry, old man. I am too ill-suited for that job. I hate being confined to the desk. I love my research, you know. Perhaps Azuma? He asked Sarutobi, who shook his head. We all know Azuma is deserving, but he doesn't agree. He refused before I asked him, so he's out, the old man said to his old student. What about Shikaku? He is intelligent enough, Jiraiya said to Hiruzen, who shook his head. Shikaku will find that too troublesome. I was thinking of Tsunade, he said plainly. Jiraiya sighed. Old man, I told you that she will never, well.
Convince her then, Sarutobi said. Jiraiya, do anything. I don't wanna do this anymore. I am sick of it. This job and this pressure. I should have retired ages ago and gone back to my painting, he said to Jiraiya, who scoffed again.
You weren't that good anyway. I mean, I did not see the greatness in the paintings, he said in a joking manner. Sarutobi laughed. Do it after the exams? This will be the final 2 months of my job as a Hokage, he said. Jiraiya nodded. I will take Naruto with me. I hope that is not too problematic, Jiraiya said to the old man, who nodded. Take him along, remember? Groom him for the position. Whether the civilians like it or not, he is going to be the Rockudame Hokage, he said to Jiraiya. It is his dream after all, he finished. Does Orochimaru have anything to do with this sudden mood swing? Jiraiya asked him, and the old man nodded. More than you think, Jiraiya-kun. Either way, I'm going out, and I'm going out in style. I'll take him down with me if I have to, he said, smiling. You are not doing any such thing, old man. I will see to that, Jiraiya said to Sarutobi, who sighed. Nothing will change my mind. Jiraiya, at the end of these exams, I will finish what I should have finished all those years ago, and I will avenge all the innocents that have lost their lives, he said to Jiraiya, who turned away from the old man and resumed staring into the distance. Old man, he said, not needing to say much, I can't have you do that. You are one of the closest things to a father I have. You know, Jiraiya said to him affectionately, and Sarutobi smiled. I always underestimated you, Jiraiya, and I can tell you that was a mistake. Just don't do it yourself, he said to Jiraiya, who shunshined away. XL. Troublesome, a voice that sounded as bored as the expression itself. You find every damn thing troublesome, Shikamaru, said Ino Yamanaka. The blonde kunoichi had had it with the laziness of his teammate. She had tried changing his ways, but that was about as easy as getting Chuji to give up on food, and getting Chuji to give up on food was as easy as shrinking Sakura's forehead. In other words, she was doomed. I have to be on a team with these losers, she thought to herself. I'm too good for them, and even though I am the leader, they never ever listen to me, she sighed. They were on a D-rank mission, but it was only 2 people as Chuji was in the hospital. Again, thanks to overeating. Again, they were supposed to catch a cat that kept running away, and somehow their sensei had steered them away from a mission like that. But it was like they could avoid it no longer.
Sakura had told her about the damn cat and how it was so tough to actually catch. She wondered if she could break the time limit that Team 7 had set for themselves, but thanks to Choji being incapacitated, that was not going to happen. Damn it, I lose to her again. She thought to herself. She turned and looked at her lazy teammate, who wanted to be anywhere but where he was now, in the woods, and had a really bored expression on his face.
Shikamaru, stop watching the damn clouds and catch the cat already, she shouted at him. This jolted him awake, but before long he was back to putting on the same bored expression. Ino scowled, but her scowls were ignored. She turned to her own sensei, who had a dreamy look on his face, and could not care less about where the cat was or what it was doing. 2 hours later.
Finally, they had turned in the cat, and Ino found out the reason for the cat's repeated escape. After all, if your owner itself threatened bodily harm on you, then you would probably want to run away too. But what she was not expecting was seeing the grandson of the Hokage, Konohamaru, being held high up in the air by his scarf by a man with what would be called war paint on his face and a mummy on his back.
There was also a woman, who Ino had to admit was rather attractive and like her was blonde. She had a fan on her back. She wondered looking at the headbands on the foreheads. They were from sand. If every sand jinin, she was aware of the Chunin exams coming up, carried something heavy on their back, but before she could react to what was happening, Shikamaru had stepped up. Put him down now, Shikamaru said to the boy holding Konohamaru by his scarf. Make me, the boy said simply, which made Shikamaru sigh, and let out a small troublesome.
Well, if you don't, I'll make your sister strip, he said simply.
What? The boy in black asked him, getting angrier by the second. That was when the girl began shaking. Kankuro, she said hesitantly, as Shikamaru began making a weird mind gesture of removing his clothes, and the girl was doing it. She had taken off her fan. Make him stop. Please, she said. Hey, you stop that, now, the boy named Kankuro shouted at Shikamaru. Don't do that to Tamari, he said to him. Who's Tamari? Shikamaru asked him mockingly before mimicking the removal of a headband. Ino could have sworn that she had never seen Shikamaru use that tone before. My sister, you idiot, look. I put the kid down, he said before doing just that. Konohamaru scampered away along with his 2 friends that had turned out of nowhere. Good, now I need assurance that I will not be harmed by the woman. Otherwise more than the fan will come off, he said to Kankuro, who looked at Tamari, who nodded. How did you do it? She asked Shikamaru, curious enough to not sound mad at all. Shikamaru looked down and saw his shadow that had extended and latched onto Tamari. She oohed in realization. This was the Nara clan then. They were known for their shadow techniques.
Shikamaru sighed as he released the jutsu and the shadow receded slowly before coming back, and in an instant Tamari was close to him, and peering at him. Who the hell do you think you are? She shouted at Shikamaru, who sighed, but did not look too comfortable with what was happening right now. Ino was just staring with her jaw wide open. She did not want to interrupt this moment.
You are too troublesome. You promised not to hurt me, so you should step away, Shikamaru said, sighing again. However, Tamari did not back down. You think you are so smug, don't you? She asked Shikamaru. What if I told you I found that kinky? What would you say to that? She asked him as Shikamaru paled. What? Shikamaru, Kankuro and Ino simultaneously stuttered.
I like that. Now what is your name? She asked Shikamaru huskily. Ino had to admit, that would have gotten her right there. She then chastised herself for even having such thoughts. Naruto Baka had those thoughts, not her. Shikamaru, he whispered in Temari's ears. They were really close and Tamari was blushing. What the hell was going on? The end result was a confused Ino and Kankuro, but before anything else could happen, Tamari kneed Shikamaru straight at the groin. Shikamaru staggered before falling down, clutching his stomach.
Only I get to be kinky, do you hear? Tamari asked Shikamaru before walking away and picking up her fan and headband. Shikamaru, are you all right? Ino asked him, concerned. However, Tamari just shrugged her off.
He is fine. He's lucky that he is so cute. Otherwise I would have got him harder, she said. Ino blanched. Shikamaru, cute. Wow, that guy is a pathetic excuse of a ninja. To think that Raikage-sama had told us to be careful of the Konoha shinobi. They look useless to me, a new voice said.
Everybody turned and looked in that direction. The speaker was a dark-skinned female. She was accompanied by another dark-skinned male, and a fair-skinned blonde woman. The male had white hair. The dark-skinned female had red hair.
Shikamaru was still clutching his stomach, and Ino just wanted to bury herself 6 feet under the ground to avoid the embarrassing situation.
Karui, the dark-skinned male, said to the dark-skinned female. Please, maybe something will happen if we say things like that. Please do not say such stuff. What if Konoha and Kumo go to war because of you? He asked her. The girl named Karui turned red-faced.
Shut the hell up, Omoi, she shouted at the male, but the blonde woman stepped in. Omoi, Karui, stop. B-sensei and Darui-sensei will not be happy if they hear how we behaved, she said to Karui. The blonde had long straight hair and wore fingerless gloves, and much to the delight of the two males, excluding Omoi who was used to it, she was easy on the eyes, actually way too easy.
Yugito, you are worse than Samui. Curse her field promotion, Karui said as Omoi remained silent. So, even the Kumo shinobi are here. Eh? Shikamaru asked. He was still sort of clutching his stomach. Our headbands gave us away, dumbass. Karui asked Shikamaru, who sighed. Why does every kunoichi I meet have to be so damn troublesome? What did I do to deserve this? What a drag, he said, and Ino again began wishing for her burial. Shikamaru, you always find everything way too troublesome. This was a whole new voice, and to Ino's delight, it was also familiar. Even though she was not too fond of the person who it was, a known face was welcome right now. But even better when she turned and saw that there were 3 known faces, her best friend, rival, her crush, and Naruto. I wonder what your wife will do to you, Naruto said. I mean, you might find the sex too troublesome as well, no? Naruto asked Shikamaru, as Sakura began glaring at him. Sasuke was smirking, Kankuro was trying to hold in his laughter, and Tamari was giggling. The Kumo nin remained silent, although Yugito began staring at Naruto.
Wow, another Konoha shinobi who thinks joking will get him past anything, Karui said, looking at Naruto. This gained his attention. He turned and stared at Karui, before directing a burst of killer intent towards her. She froze in place.
A second later, Naruto was behind her, and Yugito and Omoi had their kunai and sword, respectively, out. I can wipe all of you out, right now. Naruto whispered in Karui's ears. She had begun shivering in fright. I suggest you move away, Yugito said to Naruto, who looked at her, and their eyes met. Matabi, the fox said. Naruto heard it, and everybody could tell that Naruto and Yugito had identical expressions right now. Stepping away then, Naruto said cheerfully, as he moved away and removed the key. Karui sighed in relief.
Who is Matabi? He asked the fox as he was walking back to where his team was, staring at him open-mouthed. 2 tails, but that's not all. Now I can feel another one.
This is Shukaku, the one-tailed. It's like a Biju convention. Naruto looked towards the trees. That was where the chakra of Shukaku was coming from. This was turning out to be extremely interesting.
I was coming back from receiving the Chunin exam form with my team, and I saw Kono. He told me what happened. Naruto and Konohamaru were like brothers. Naruto called him that affectionately. He then turned to the Sand Nin. Next time, before you try to cause an international incident, you better consult your other teammate. In the trees, come out now Sandman, he called out to the trees. Everybody turned to the trees as a red-haired, short boy came out, a gourd on his back.
Gaara of the desert, I shall have your name now, he said to Naruto. Naruto noticed how the other Sand Nin had stiffened, but he was not even a little bit scared. He could tell that Sasuke, Yugito and Shikamaru were the only people right now who weren't shivering, apart from him, due to the killer intent that was in the air, and Naruto gave Sasuke and Shikamaru great credit for that. Hello there, one. Tell your pet raccoon that I have a 9, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto said to Gaara, who paled. Everybody else wondered what the hell was being talked about. Temari and Kankuro realized that Naruto had already deciphered the fact that Gaara had a demon inside him. Mother wants your blood, Uzumaki. Naruto, he said, sounding every bit as menacing as he intended to. However, to his shock, Naruto did not flinch. I don't care if it's your father who wants blood. Mess with me, and the only blood you will get is your own, on the ground dripping away as you count your remaining seconds. Is that understood?
Gaara was paler than he had ever been. He began rubbing the spot where there was the kanji for love on his skin.
Temari, Kankuro, we have to leave now. Let's go, Gaara said before taking the Sand Nin with him. The exams will be interesting this year? Eh? Shika? Naruto asked him. Shikamaru nodded. Ino continued looking wide-eyed at Naruto while Sakura and Sasuke seemed used to it. She was seeing him in a new light. We'll meet at the exams, too, Naruto said. It was meant for Yugito to hear, and she got the message loud and clear. Sure, 9, she said before walking away with her team. 2? 9? What was that about? And they seemed like they had known each other for a while, Shikamaru thought as he mumbled a goodbye. He had to think about what had happened. XL. We know, Itachi, but are you ready? Sasuke won't take it well, the Hokage asked him. Itachi was staring out the window, pretty much the same way Jiraiya had been a few hours ago. I am, Itachi said.
It's been a long time, brother. I hope I inspired you to be stronger, Itachi thought to himself as he continued staring into the distance.
XL. Orochimaru smiled. Before breaking into fits of laughter, he would finally have his revenge on his sensei for not picking him to be Hokage, and on the village he had promised he would burn down. He also would finally get the Sharingan. Maybe not from Itachi, who had gone missing, but from his little brother, Sasuke.
He would have continued laughing, but even he was not prepared for what came next. So, Rice Country is your hidey holy H. Orochimaru. Orochimaru turned towards the door, as his eyes widened in recognition. You, he said, for the first time feeling scared of the man who was at his door.
Ever. Since Naruto and his team had accepted the Chunin exams form and filled them in, preparations had been full swing. Naruto tried his hardest to ignore what was going on with Gaara and Yugito, the two Jinchuriki that had arrived in Konoha. Naruto felt some sort of strange longing to get to know them better. He felt that they were one of the 8 other people who could understand what it felt like to have something in you that makes people hate you for it, and in general be relayed biased. Yet, he shuddered to think what would have happened had his father not have visited him that fateful day and told him about the fox, and had the fox not helped him out. He wondered if he would turn out to be like Gaara, a person who inspired terror in his own siblings. But Naruto was more curious about Yugito. For all he knew, she was kind of like him, from what he had seen of her, and there was not much. She was friendly with her teammates, who were also seemingly aware of her tenant, something that he was yet to tell his teammates. They had asked him what he meant by 9, and he had been generally evasive. Only Pervy Sage and the old man were told about the Jinchuriki, and Naruto had been promised by the third that he would personally look into. Sasuke and Sakura had come along nicely in the last few days. Something had lit a metaphorical fire under Sakura's ass, and she worked real hard, trying to acquire not only Jinjutsu, but also some medical techniques. Kakashi thought that she was a natural at doing that, and that she had potential that was equal to the Sannin, Tsunade herself.
Sasuke and Naruto had helped her out with chakra capacity and served as sparring partners that would not hold back and go at her with all they had, not Naruto, who would probably end up killing her if that happened. Kakashi was pleased with how his team had come along. They were strong. Naruto was probably stronger than he let on, and Sasuke was easily Chunin material. More importantly, they listened to each other and followed each other's advice, while the other teams still had some disagreements from time to time. No one had expected Kakashi's team, what with the Uchiha and his former fangirl with the dead last, to do so good and gel together so well, but they did, and their combination worked.
The other teams had been at it too. Team 8, which had Hinata and Kiba and Shino, and was led by Yuhi Kurenai, Asuma's girlfriend, or fuck buddy according to Anko, were also one of the more promising up and coming trackers. What with such amazing bloodlines that really did tracking. Hinata was grounded and had good awareness of her surroundings. Shino was formidable in his own right, and Kiba, though brash and arrogant and a loudmouth, was strong, and there was no denying that.
Team 10 had also been catching attention, according to Asuma, who had bet around 100,000 Ryo on Shikamaru becoming a Chunin and some more money on Ino and Choji making the finals. Shikamaru was the kind of genius that came along once a generation, although he did come with a single major flaw, and that was his chronic laziness and his inability to be inspired by anything that was not life-threatening to his precious people. The Ino Shika Cho trio, however, were living up to the potential and proved that there was no mistake made when they were picked. Apparently, teamwork was in their genes and they were as well-oiled of a unit as Team 7.
Shikamaru, much to everyone's amusement, had taken up to meeting Temari a lot. Their conversations were generally had when playing shogi and watching clouds, while Temari berated him for being so lazy. Choji and Ino had been outraged when they had seen Temari and Shikamaru together, staring at clouds. Ino had told Choji about the encounter that Shikamaru had had with Temari, and had watched his jaw drop when he heard about the whole thing, and the way Ino had said him there was tension of the sexual variety between them.
Temari for her part had to ward off an angry Team Baki. Gaara was always angry, but Kankuro had flat out told her that she was fraternizing with the enemy, but Temari did not care about it at all. She only wanted to hang out with Shikamaru for some inexplicable reason, and the more she thought about it, the more it went over her head. She had thought that she would really hate someone as lazy as Shikamaru had turned out to be, and yet he had something about him that had attracted her to him, and she loved it, and for some reason, the impending invasion that they were going to carry out on the village seemed to be even more daunting, because deep down, Temari did not want to betray Shikamaru. She couldn't explain this line of thought, but according to her she did not need to. She did not understand what the fuss was about, and she did not care. Then there was Team Guy, and there was one person, who more than anyone else had wanted to take on the dead last Naruto in a one-on-one battle and show him the error of his ways, and this person was Neji Hyuga. He had been humiliated by the blonde brat, who had no talent, was destined to fail. Both Rock Lee, his useless, according to him anyway, teammate, and his over-enthusiastic teacher Guy had tried to persuade him against ever taking on Naruto, as he was more than he let on. But Neji was not willing to listen to them. He only wanted to listen to the thoughts of revenge that were inside his head, and the time for taking his revenge was coming, for he was not the only person on his list. There was another, his own family, cousin sister Hinata was also on his list.
XL.
What the hell could you possibly want from me? Orochimaru asked the man in front of him, who had chosen to remain in darkness and not step forward, and even though Orochimaru could clearly make out the swirling patterns on the monk's orange mask, he was scared of the person in front of him, and scared of what was going to happen to him. Scared for once, of death. Oh, is that a way to greet your superior, Orochimaru? Or do you forget that it is my clan's dojutsu that you are so callously chasing? Do you think it is that easy? The man asked him. Orochimaru began sweating. He knew he could make a break for it, but to slip in here undetected was something no one had done, and the power that the man in front of him had was far too great. He would be done for.
Look, it's only for immortality, I know, the man said, interrupting him. If this was anyone else, he would be dead. But this masked man was not anyone else. He He was someone who was well known for being a prodigy, for being extremely strong, for being the one man apart from Hashirama Senju who had taken a tailed beast under his control. Uchiha. Madara Orochimaru said, I do not have anything against you. The last I heard was, you were looking for the tailed beasts, and I want a Sharingan, and that too Sasuke's, because Itachi is too strong. So I don't want to have to fight Orochimaru, said to Madara, who began giggling in a shrill voice.
Amusing indeed, for a man that wants to be immortal. You have a strange flirtatious relationship with death. I mean, having come so close could have stopped you, but even escaping Itachi with your life did not teach you anything, did it? Madara asked him.
Orochimaru grit his teeth. He did not like where this conversation was heading by the second, plus Madara's presence was irritating him a lot more. He was almost considering fighting this person. I am curious though, how did you know it was me? Madara asked Orochimaru, genuinely surprised that Orochimaru had recognized him under the mask.
I took a shot, I knew you were not dead, and I knew that if someone had the power to do things you seem to have done, then it must be you, but frankly I don't care, Orochimaru said to him, perhaps being braver than he had though he could be. This just caused Madara to laugh, and this one was maniacal. This was the laugh of a person who had lost all sense of good and bad ages ago.
Brave. Snake Man, very brave, however. I would say that this is completely unwise after all. You don't want to be challenging me, Madara said to him in a tone that was highly condescending and mocking. Orochimaru could not grit his teeth any further while Madara was loving every minute of this conversation that was taking place right now.
What do you want? Orochimaru asked Madara, who laughed again and made Orochimaru feel extremely uncomfortable, and that was a huge achievement.
Getting down to business. I see, very wise, Orochimaru. Now here is the deal. I want you to join me, Madara said to him. Orochimaru looked at him wondering if he was joking. And if I refuse? Orochimaru asked him in a slow drawl, and Madara smiled, although under the mask it was not visible.
Simple, I will leave now, but there is no doubt that our paths will collide, by hook or by crook, and then we will be pitted against each other, and we both know who is going to win that battle, don't we? Madara asked him arrogantly, and Orochimaru shuddered, even though it was quite boastful of the masked man to say. It was true, he really was not going to win like this, nor would he beat Madara anyway. There is a conflict, Madara. I want the Sharingan and you know it, Orochimaru said to him. I will not stop till I gain the Sharingan, and I will obliterate all that stands in my path, so I don't know if you are okay with that, he said to Madara, who nodded. I don't care about Uchihas anymore, which is kind of ironic, but they had forsaken me a long time ago. What I actually want is something else, but still, let's see you try, shall we? If you are able to invade Konoha successfully, you can have Sasuke Uchiha, and if you don't, you can have him when I tell you to have him, and trust me when I say this, you will get a chance to have him again. This is not a final shot, Madara said to him.
Orochimaru looked pensive at what Madara had told him just now. But Madara did not want to wait around.
I want an answer, soon, Madara said before vanishing, leaving Orochimaru to himself and his thoughts.
XL. What do you see in these clouds anyway? Temari asked Shikamaru. They were staring at clouds today, something Temari had no patience for. She had hoped for a shogi match, but Shikamaru had shrugged that idea off. Instead, they were watching clouds again.
Isn't a cloud so lucky? No goals, no one to look after, no one to care for, just floating away in the sky till it rains, and then being reborn again. Isn't that a very blessed life it leads? Said Shikamaru, almost philosophically while Temari's sweat dropped. The boy always said things like this, but this was new. It gave her insight into him, and she wanted to know about him, more than she already did. So, are your goals similar, to have no one to look after? She asked him, and even though she did not realize it, there was a tone of longing in her voice, something that could tell anyone that she wanted to be someone Shikamaru cared about. However, Shikamaru, being the lazy person he was, had missed this. Even though Temari herself was surprised that something like this was coming from her own mouth, she had to slap herself mentally and remind her that Shikamaru was an enemy. I want a normal life, Shikamaru said to her, I want to become a chunin, maybe junin, marry a moderately pretty woman and have 2 kids, a guy and a girl, and retire once the girl is married, or the boy is promoted, that is all I want, Shikamaru said to her and Temari blushed.
So, suppose it was me. Would I fit your criteria for a wife? She asked him, surprised how hopeful and cheesy she was sounding right now. However, she only had romance novels to go by. However, Shikamaru was completely oblivious to what she was doing.
Yes, you are moderately pretty, he said, which he realized a second too late was not the right thing to say as Temari was turning red-faced by the second, not from shame but from anger, she was shaking.
Moderately pretty, she asked Shikamaru, and she hated to say it but it sounded like a hiss to her, and this was extremely scary for Shikamaru. I only meant criteria-wise, Shikamaru said hastily, shaking his hands. You are very beautiful actually. You might be too good for the position, he finished, and Temari quieted down, causing Shikamaru to heave a sigh of relief. This was what he wanted to happen at this point in time. Shikamaru, Temari said, which made the boy look her in the eyes, and he realized there was something she wanted to tell him. I want to say something to you.
Temari was berating herself for doing this, but she realized that what she felt for the boy was more than a friendly affection, and her inner self did not want to start off this strange feeling she had for him with a lie, but Temari realized what was happening. I want to say, Temari said, just as much to her fortune, Kankuro showed up, looking miffed at what was happening. He did not like his sister with Shikamaru.
I have to go, Temari said before rushing off towards Kankuro. She had soon disappeared from Shikamaru's sight.
That tone in her voice, Shikamaru thought. It sounded like someone was doing something that was necessary, ignoring the fact that it might hurt their loved ones. I have heard that one before, and I don't like it. Temari, what are you hiding?
XL. Oh, I thought that this day would never ever come, Naruto said enthusiastically. Team 7 was in the building that was going to house the Chunin exams. Will you stay quiet? Sakura asked Naruto. She had a headache, courtesy Ino, who had introduced her to the joys of sake. And although she was fine and completely sober, the headache still lingered, and Sakura was worried that it would affect her exams. She had taken a tablet and had hoped that the headache would leave. It had faded, but was still there like some sort of a throb.
Well, boo-hoo that you had to get drunk, and Sasuke and I had to carry you back. Your mother was not happy at all, he said to her, and Sakura shivered. Her mother had given her a cold look today morning, showing displeasure at what she had done. She hoped that there would not be a significant backlash from her when she got back home tonight.
Naruto, Genjutsu Sasuke, said to Naruto, pointing his finger to the door, and realizing that this was indeed the 2nd floor, and not the 3rd floor that they needed to be on. Naruto spotted Rock Lee and his team staring at the Chunin guarding the door, and apparently not letting anyone through. Please, let us pass. Ten, the female member of Lee's team, had said to the guard, who was unrelenting, before Ten shrugged and along with Neji and Rock Lee had taken the staircase on the left, ignoring the protests of the guard, who wondered if they were interested in the exams at all. Naruto smiled. Well played. This was one way to throw out the undeserving. Naruto decided to do the same, and Sasuke and Sakura, who had taken to Naruto being their unofficial leader, had followed in his footsteps.
Soon they found themselves on the right floor, along with a lot of the candidates, and found that Team 8 had already arrived, and so had Team 10. I thought you were not gonna show up, Sakura, Ino said to her, sounding worried about her best friend. They had resumed their friendship ever since Ino and Sakura had both realized that Sasuke liked a girl who was not one of the two, and there was nothing they could do about it. Hinata and Team 8 were also standing there. Kiba was smiling at Naruto while Shikamaru looked bored. Choji was munching on chips and Shino was running his finger around his nose and looking stoic. So Naruto heard about Shikamaru. Apparently he is friends with that really hot Kunoichi from Suna. What do they call her? Temari. He asked Choji, who nodded. What I wouldn't give to have a piece of her, he said, almost drooling like a lot of the dogs did, and suddenly Naruto felt uncomfortable, as did almost everyone in the vicinity, as Shikamaru of all people let loose a killer intent that scared the living piss out of everyone. Say that again, and I will not spare you, he said to Kiba, who, eat. and decided that maybe opening his big fat mouth was not the right thing to do. Sasuke and Naruto looked amused while Ino was glaring at Shikamaru. According to her, Temari was an enemy nin. She did not care about the alliance between Suna and Konoha one bit. All she did care about was her teammate, who in the past few days had become like a brother to her, and she was worried that Temari was enticing him and leading him to his doom, and she did not like it. Can't you just stop with Temari for a second? I mean, you guys were never that interested in me, Shikamaru said, again taking on that same lazy tone, completely displacing the cold tone he had used with Kiba, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. They were glad to see Shikamaru return to his lazy self. However, Choji was the one to break the silence. That's caused by yourself. You are just a lazy bum who stares at clouds, he said to Shikamaru, who sighed, muttering about troublesome friends while the rest of the Rookie 9 had laughed. However, only Naruto and Sasuke noticed that the whole room, that was full of rookies, was now looking at them, and most of them were anything but friendly looks. As a matter of fact, he was getting vibes of some killing intent, especially from the people who were wearing a headband with a musical note on it. That is Oto. It is a relatively new village. They decided to send teams for the Chunin exams this year too. I wonder why. A new voice said. The silence had already been broken. The other teams had returned to concentrating on themselves and their comrades. This new person, however, was a Konoha shinobi who had a friendly look on his face, had spectacles on. Who in the blue hell are you? Kiba asked this new man incredulously, causing the said man to smile. I heard a lot about you, Kiba Inuzuka. Your loud mouth precedes your reputation as one of the strongest genin in the village, he said, which caused Kiba to growl. However, in reply, the man merely smiled before extending his hand towards Kiba. Yakushi Kabuto, you can ask me anything you know. I am taking these exams for the 7th time, he said to the whole group of 9 rookies. I also participated as a rookie, and let me tell you, the teams aren't kind to them. At least they weren't kind to mine, he said to them.
7 times? Ino asked, shocked. Whoa, you must really suck, she said. Kiba snickered, while Choji let out a small grin. Kabuto just smiled.
To each his own. Although you would be foolish to think you will be promoted so easily, Kabuto said to Ino. It is not that easy with everyone after you, you'll see, he said to her, smiling. Ino scoffed, as did Kiba. This person, despite sounding friendly, was not really saying anything friendly to him, and he did not like that one bit. The dog that was sitting on his head at the moment seemed to agree with him as it yipped its disapproval of the bespectacled ninja. This guy seems suspicious, Naruto said to Sasuke. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that there is something really negative about him, he told him. Sasuke merely shrugged his shoulders. The only thing negative about him as well, everything, he said to Naruto, who smiled before awkwardly pausing. Did Sasuke crack a joke, or at least make an attempt? Did you just? He began asking Sasuke, who interrupted him. I do have a sense of humor, it's just black comedy, Naruto, you won't understand, he said to Naruto, who then proceeded to flip him off, and Ino saw this, and this annoyed her.
Don't make rude gestures towards Sasuke-kun, she said to Naruto, who groaned. Her fangirlism was really annoying. Before he could respond, a man came into the room. Said man had an intimidating tone about him and had scars on his face, and Naruto realized that this man would make a great fit in the torture and interrogation squad of Konoha. He looked the part for all he knew. As long as this person did not sound like a chipmunk, he might as well have worked in that department.
Quiet down, brats, the man bellowed, and much to Naruto's relief and disappointment, he did not sound like a chipmunk at all. As a matter of fact, he sounded like he had seen tough times, and every bit as scary as the face he had on him. And Naruto remembered hearing about this person from Enko. This was Ibiki Morino, Enko's mentor. Now, I assume you are here for the Chunin exams. Well, I am your proctor for the first stage. My name is Ibiki Morino, he said to the crowd of genin, all of whom were silent, listening to this person in rapt attention. Naruto swore that even a breath could be heard. He wondered if everyone was holding theirs. Well, the first stage, we will make you real men, and make you take a written test, he said to the whole assembly in front of him, and he watched as faces fell. Naruto's fell the furthest. He was good at combat intelligence, and was probably as strong as any Junin, and yet he could not defeat the written test. Sakura looked at Naruto, worried for him as she knew that Naruto was smarter in street skills and not in bookish ones. Sasuke, however, was confident. Even though he himself was not that good in written exams, he had already decided that he was going to cheat. It was a dishonorable thing to do, but hell, they were ninjas, who cared? Naruto, you will be fine. Just take this on with a clear head, okay? Sakura said to him, trying to be as reassuring as she possibly could be, and Naruto smiled. He couldn't believe that she had come so far along. He remembered way back when she was a mindless fangirl and how he had protested being teamed with her, and now she was like a sister that he never had, and he was glad for it. Shut up! Ibiki screamed as he felt the murmurs in the room begin to rise. The rules are as follows: 45-minute test with 9 questions, 5 minutes for each question. Correct answer leads to a single point. However, if you answer wrongly, you lose 1 point, and if you get caught cheating, you lose 2 points. Get caught cheating 5 times and you and your team can get the fuck out of my exam, he said to the whole room. On the completion of the first 9 questions, a 10th one will be given. This one will have 10 bonus points and will require 15 minutes of your time, and I will select a predetermined number of teams with the highest scores. Get it? He asked the whole room, which nodded in unison. Okay then, what the hell are you waiting for? Get the hell in room 7 within 5 minutes and collect your test papers. Before that, take your number so that you can find out where you will be seated, he said to them as the whole room made a bustle towards the desk which was handing out numbers. Naruto noticed that no team was allowed to sit together. Bummer, Naruto thought as he stared at Hinata collecting her number in front of him. He absently moved forward, waiting to receive his own placement.
XL.
Yes, I have a fucking chance. Naruto though, as much to his delight, he was placed beside Hinata, who had always been friendly to him and would help him out even during the academy. She was also quite intelligent, though not as bookish as Sakura. If he could cheat from her, he could pass. The team scores will be joined and he planned on not letting his teammates down. He could not imagine facing them if he had failed all of them because he could not answer 10 stupid questions. He realized that he could also lose points if he got caught, and if he was caught cheating 5 times, he was done. The whole team would go out. Wait, that does not sound right. I mean, in the academy, we were never given the liberty of cheating, he thought to himself. So why did it now, unless they actually want us to cheat? He thought as it hit him. This was not about the test, this was about gathering information and not getting caught. This was after all a very important skill that every shinobi needed to have, and Naruto realized that this was a very clever method of testing. He smiled as he knew what to do. He activated a hinge before turning on the Rinnegan, which gave him clearer vision when he focused chakra on the eyes, and thus allowed him to peer at other papers at a distance without much problem. He turned around casually as he came across a candidate who was scribbling away. The answers seemed right to Naruto, and he realized what was going on. There were some plants in here, and they made for the sources of information. Soon he was on his way to copying away and passing. He observed the surroundings around him and saw that everyone had found methods to copy. They had either figured out the purpose of the test or they were just doing it out of desperation. Kiba seemed to be taking the help of his dog Akamaru, who was apparently whispering the answers to him while Shino was using his bugs. Sakura seemed to have an idea as to how to solve the paper that was more difficult than what one should expect from the written test, only furthering the purpose of information gathering. Naruto smiled. If there was anyone who was smart enough to do the test on his own, it was Sakura. She excelled at stuff like this. Sasuke seemed to be copying hand movements with his Sharingan, something that Naruto thought was highly ingenious. Ino would probably use the mind-body transfer technique and the others would manage. He smiled. It seemed that all his comrades from his year were well on their way to the next round.
However, many others were not very lucky at all. Within 5 minutes in the test, many people had already been ejected from the exam, along with their teammates, much to the anger of the expelled candidates. Ibiki was unrelenting and ruthlessly eliminated everyone who was caught cheating for a 5th time. Apparently there were 78 teams when this had started. Now there were only 45 left. This turned out to be an effective weeding out process.
However, Naruto was left to ponder on the weirdness of one Kabuto Yakushi. who he found to be extremely suspicious and someone not to be trusted. He had seemed friendly enough, but in a condescending way that indicated that he thought he was miles above everyone else. And Naruto, who had hidden his own talents in the academy, realized that Kabuto was also hiding, but he did not know if it was some deep dark secret or ability. However, Naruto found it ridiculous that Kabuto had failed 7 times, something that should not happen if he was smart enough. Unless he is a spy, in which case it's all the more likely that he is selling us out, he thought, wondering if he should use the King of Hell and interrogate Kabuto, however quickly deciding against it. For all intents and purposes, this was just a hunch of his and he did not need to go to that extreme. As he continued thinking about Kabuto and what to do about him, 45 minutes had already elapsed and Ibiki had taken the center stage again, before starting off. Now, the 10th question's time is here, he said to the remaining 47 teams that were present. But there is a catch, you can choose to not take this question and fail, or you can choose to take this question, he said to the room. Upon looking at the puzzled expressions of all the genin in the room, he smiled.
If you do take the question and answer it, you will pass. However, should you get the answer wrong, you will never be able to take the Chunin exam ever again, he said to the room. The room erupted in protests, with many people asking Ibiki how he could do something so ridiculous. Ibiki just shrugged them off. However, Naruto realized that the purpose behind this exam was not information gathering, but to test whether they were able to take the necessary risks and make the sacrifices that needed to be made. He decided that he needed to stay quiet while the doubtful would eliminate themselves, and he was right. Almost half the room had left, deciding to try again. Naruto smiled. More would leave this way, making competition easier.
However, Sakura did not seem too sure, and Sasuke and Naruto both saw the doubt in her face. Hinata was also about to give up. However, Naruto decided that Sakura needed to know that they believed in her and that she could do it. Sakura, he called out, I trust you. Sasuke does too. Don't worry, Team 7 stays together, whether as Genin or as Chunin. If they never make me a Chunin, I will still become Hokage, Sasuke will still avenge his family, and you will still become the great kunoichi you inspire to be, he said. Everybody heard this and smiled. Team 7 isn't the only one, Team 8 also stays together. Hinata, let's do this, Kiba said to her. Hinata gave him a weak grin while Shino was presumably smiling under his hood. The boy has strengthened the resolve of everyone in the room. He will one day make a fine leader, and who knows, maybe a Hokage. I can't keep this up, he thought to himself. Alright, he said as the last of the teams left the room. Only 18 of the 78 remained. Well, you pass.
XL.
Are you ready, Itachi? Sandaime asked the Uchiha, who was seated wearing a mask, his old mask, that of Weasel. Itachi nodded. He was not going to fail his brother. For him, he would do this. Remember, he might change his targets. You have to save the other one too, Jiraiya, who was also in the room, said to Itachi. Yes, Jiraiya-sama, do not worry, I will protect all of them. Orochimaru will not have his way with them, he said, his voice resembling the voice of someone who had the strength to accomplish the high lofty goals he would set for himself. Orochimaru, it's time, now, we finish what we started years ago, thought the old man as he sighed, before reclining in his chair.
The Forest of Death, the way they got here was unimportant. Basically, Anko Mitarashi, the girlfriend of his surrogate older brother, was the proctor of the exam. And for some reason she had decided that it would be a good thing for her to cut his cheek and lick the blood off it. He wondered how Iruka was dealing with such sadistic tendencies, but he was focused on the task at hand, and that was the Heaven's Scroll. They had been told why they had passed the first test. That was because they were brave enough to take the risks that came with being a shinobi, and then they had had their introduction with the basket of crazy that was Anko, who had given the teams that remained a scroll, either heaven or earth on it. They had to collect the scroll they did not have, and then proceed to the tower that was in the center of the Forest of Death. And this was all to be done on a time limit, on 5 days.
Naruto could not wait that long. He had to finish finding the scroll as soon as possible, and make sure that he was well rested for whatever the third test was going to be. No one had told him, but he hadn't ever asked. He knew that at some point in the exams, they would be asked to battle in a stadium, done as a means of showing off to the world the power of their young shinobi, and also allowing the authorities to decide who would be fit for a promotion, and Naruto knew he could not rule out the possibility of this happening immediately after the 5 days are up. He had to be prepared.
Sakura and Sasuke were safe. He had clones to protect them. However, he himself was on a scouting mission. Not only for the Heaven Scroll, but also for Gaara. And maybe Yugito, but mostly Gaara. The red-haired kid was homicidal. To say the least, he had disturbed a lot of people. Plus, he seemed pretty open to the fact that he had a demon inside him. And Naruto knew that if someone was so comfortable with his demon, he would be equally comfortable being mistaken for one, or being a demon himself.
He could not let Gaara get away with anything the Jinchuriki might try, and he knew that he had to act in that order, but fortunately for him, he had a jutsu that would help tame the monster inside Gaara. He had learned it all the way back when he was apprehending Mizuki.
Flashback. Okay, let's see. There is so much I can pick up from this. Thank God I have a spare scroll, he said, before forming a clone that began diligently copying all the jutsu in a scroll that Naruto would keep for himself. What the hell is this? Naruto thought, looking at one of the techniques. Wood style. Sanctuary enlightenment. Enclosing palm. What is this thing? That kit is what Hashirama used to control the tailed beasts. I think it will be useful if you learn it. The voice of the fox boomed. End flashback.
How could he have forgotten that day? It was the day he had almost lost Iruka. It was the day he had discovered that he could bring people back from the dead, but he knew that it would cost him almost all his chakra to do so. He hoped that someday he would be skilled enough to bring all of them back and make sure no one ever died, but that was a long time away, and he was not gonna spend that time wishing for things to happen. He was gonna make them happen, some way or the other. Okay, I do not see anyone here, not even Gaara. I hope that he has not taken any lives yet. If I know him, there is a chance of him doing something drastic and I do not want that happening, he thought to himself. He had been going on for quite a while now. When something happened, he received a memory he did not like, not even a bit. Holy shit. How? It can't be.
XL.
Sasuke and Sakura were on their way to the central tower with a single Naruto clone, and some others that were on but well hidden from sight. Sasuke hoped that Naruto would return quickly as he had seen something that he didn't want to just a few minutes earlier. It was a team that had a member killed by the red-head boy who called himself a demon, and Sasuke shuddered. He knew he was good, but was he good enough to fight the guy? Wasn't his name Gaara? However, Sasuke did not have time to think as just then something flashed past him and hit Sakura, knocking her out instantly. The clone went out next, and as Sasuke activated his Sharingan, he realized that the person who had attacked was no ordinary person. As a matter of fact, the person who attacked was an infamous person, and a person who every shinobi in Konoha had associated with the word traitor. Ku Sasuke-kun, you seem to have some recognition of me, the voice said. The person in front of him had shown himself after the clone was taken out, had pale skin, and looked like, well, a snake. It can't be, Sasuke said. Barely a whisper as killer intent stronger than anything he had ever felt had begun radiating around him, almost paralyzing him. Sakura was knocked out and Orochimaru noticed Sasuke looking at her before saying, "She is not my concern. You, however," he said before charging towards him. Sasuke went into battle mode as his Sharingan let him see what was coming, and he dodged it, pretty comfortably. The snake let out a small laughter. Nice. Those eyes, aren't they the best eyes in the world? He asked Sasuke, who was scared of him. This person was not a cage-level ninja for nothing, and this was just the start. Could he even survive? I wanted to come as a fellow contestant in these exams, but that is just so troublesome, isn't it? Isn't this way much better, much more challenging and fun? asked Sasuke. The intent was making breathing difficult, and Sasuke decided that even if he died today, Naruto and Sakura would carry on his legacy and finish off his brother. But another voice in his head was asking him the reason for that. Couldn't he survive? Fighting someone this strong could help him, and he charged. He let out a battle shout as he came towards Orochimaru, who sidestepped. Sasuke completely missed, and in that moment, looked more like an amateur than he had ever looked before, and Orochimaru laughed. Foolish Sasuke-kun. Very foolish, he said to Sasuke before summoning a snake, a giant snake. Fuck, there was nothing better for Sasuke to say at this point of time.
XL.
Fuck, Naruto said, to no one in particular. There in front of him was one of the biggest, no scratch that, the biggest snake he had ever seen. It had dispersed his clone, by swallowing it. How the hell did this snake get here? Is he here? Is this really happening? Naruto asked himself, but he was blindly groping for answers he knew he could not find. This snake had to go. Naruto had to take him out himself. He decided that this would be the time for sword to make an appearance. He had to use it sometime, right? Yes, finally you use me in battle again. This time will be amazing, the sword muttered to him in excitement. Naruto smiled. Bring it on, he said, shouting the last word as he charged towards the snake.
XL.
Sasuke realized in a minute that his brother was too strong, and he was nowhere close to his level. Actually, he was not gonna ever be at his level unless someone gave him a power-up which the characters received in video games that Naruto was fond of, and that was not going to happen. He had tried every fire jutsu he had and it had all gone to shit. Nothing had even dented the snake. This was turning out to be extremely frustrating for him. Naruto would be a real hero if he would show up. For some reason, he had a feeling that Naruto would rise up to the challenge that the Snake Man was posing. Fire style. Phoenix Sage Flower Jutsu, he thought, making the hand seals as he launched balls of fire at the snake. They barely made any dent on the snake whatsoever, and then Sasuke charged, hoping to dodge the snake and get to the man himself, and he succeeded in doing so, only for the Snake Man to effortlessly counter the taijutsu that Sasuke used on him, and then the snake lunged for him from behind. Sasuke only barely managed to dodge. He was running out. Naruto had to be here, and fast. Where is your third teammate? I don't see him. Is that dead last even somewhere around here, or did he do the smart thing? And run away? Orochimaru asked Sasuke, who grit his teeth. Was that possible? Had Naruto abandoned him and run away, leaving him and Sakura to die? He realized that Naruto was more likely to kiss him before something like that happened. Naruto will be here. I'm sure he has a plan, Sasuke said, lying through his teeth, and Orochimaru recognized it, and laughed. I say he is smarter than he looks. Smart, running away, he said before laughing again, this time loudly. Suddenly there was a poofing noise, and all of a sudden, Naruto was standing in front of him, his sword having slashed the snake into a clean half, solving that problem for once and for all, and Sasuke felt better. Naruto had that effect on people, he made people feel safer. Took him long enough, Sasuke though bitterly. Actually, Naruto said, looking at Orochimaru, sword gleaming in his hand. That was a cool sword he had there. Actually, Naruto continued, if you had to do a smart thing, it would be running away, he said, sounding confident. The intent did not seem to be affecting him one bit. Because I will kick your ass, Naruto said as Orochimaru laughed again, even louder than last time.